Hey there, Howard Beware here. I'm going to address you before the podcast starts this week, and just to let you know where we've been, while we've been gone for the last several months, that sort of thing. Turns out upon recording the last episode, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, we misplaced it. And we have been vigorously searching high and low, no stone left unturned, for the last several months. And after tirelessly searching, we finally found it. Right where we left it. Kind of embarrassing. So, this is a little old. You're gonna hear some references to things like going to see Jurassic World in the theater and me being excited about going on summer vacation, things like that. Take it with a grain of salt, and we'll have some more up-to-date modern episodes for you very soon. But, without further ado, the lost episode of The Contra Code.
And welcome to the Contra Code. I'm Mike the Rat Guy here with my friend Howard Beware.
Hey there.
And it is a wild week. It's been a wild couple of weeks of really crazy weather on both sides of the camp for the Contra Code.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Not super crazy here.
Almost. You were just
craziness. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You were just telling me that you almost got hit by a tornado.
Yeah. There was all this what to do about tornadoes coming and thunderstorms and dangerous winds, so much to the fact that I battened down the hatches, I shut up all my windows, I stocked my basement with food and water and all kinds of other stuff.
Did you stock did you bring an emergency gun just in case things got really dark?
I have a machete down here always anyway, so And, there's severe storms. I went outside. I have a bunch of hanging baskets, hanging flower baskets. I took those all down and, got my backyard ready for, to withstand the brunt force, the force of nature that would be a series of tornadoes and thunderstorms and all this shit that was coming my direction. And I didn't even get a fucking thunderbolt, man. I didn't even get a fucking crack. No, not even a lightning. Not even a glimmer. I got a little bit of sprinkling, so that's all I got. Which is fine with me, because, as I was a kid, I used to love fucking storms. And I still love storms to a point. But now that I'm a homeowner with 2 kids, and I have a lot more shit than my fucking worthless self to worry about, you just get nervous whenever there's tornadoes or storms or this or that. I'll be laying there in bed listening to a storm and it's cool, and then all of a sudden, this tree in my backyard is 15 times bigger than it really is in my head, it's ready to smash through my house. Then the next morning I'll go look at it and it's it would brush against my house and kind of fall off it if it
But in your mind, you're foreseeing the scene from Poltergeist going on.
Exactly, yeah, the ominous crazy tree.
Now for us, that's usually how it goes. Here in the town that I'm in, usually we have what I like to call a weather barrier, because I love snow and rainstorms and thunderstorms and all that as well. Yeah. Always have. So for us, whenever I'm watching the weather and I see that something like that's coming through, I always get anticipatory. I always get excited. I go outside. You can sniff the ozone. You can see the clouds kind of rolling in, and it makes you feel alive. And for some reason, it always breaks apart whenever it comes near us. It always, you can look at the radar and all the red and all the green and yellow blips that say, warnings and watches and bad weather coming your way. It always just starts to crumble apart once it gets towards us. So I'm used to not getting that stuff, but this time I most certainly did. I guess apparently Bill, is it? Cyclone Bill? Have you heard anything about that?
They name cyclones now?
I guess they do, yeah. They name everything now. They name winter storms. They name, they name everything.
Cyclone Bill.
That's what I read, yeah. Cyclone Bill. Which sounds like a He-Man figure or something.
Yeah, fucking one of the Von Erich's wrestling partners. Cyclone Bill, and that's a tornado.
That actually, yeah. It's like the new natural disasters right there.
I'm actually shocked that Vince didn't come with a Cyclone Bill, something that
Cyclone. It sounds. I was gonna say it sounds really dumb. So yeah, that is a surprise. But yeah, Cyclone Bill. Apparently, I don't know if it actually hit us directly. I'm guessing it didn't, but I'm not really familiar with how cyclones work, or if they go inland, or if they do, how far. But my understanding is that at least to some extent, Cyclone Bill did affect the weather that we got. So what happened was, whatever, the warm front hit the cold front, rain got stirred up in the air, and basically this really, really drastic storm hit us about, 4 or 5 days ago. And we had just an immense flash flood. And when I say flash flood, I'm not just like, we got an inch or two of water, and, it was really bad, you wanted to stay inside, and then, later in the afternoon, it went away. No, the entire, the streets were full of 2 feet of water. I mean, just over the course of an hour, they were barricading roads. People were getting stalled because their cars died, their engines flooded. It was like a disaster zone. So we definitely got hit. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Did the reserves come in and put up sandbags and shit like that?
They actually, minus the sandbags, because this stupid little town apparently is ill-equipped for anything. Seriously, aside from that, yes, they actually did have the local volunteers and the reserves. They had a guy in a Humvee drive up, and he had some kind of military outfit on. I don't know. Yeah, seriously, we had people kind of barricading all the major streets in and out of town. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Now, what exactly differentiates a cyclone from a tornado? I've always just thought it was another way of saying tornado. I didn't know there was a.
I could very well be wrong, but my guess is water. I think I guess a cyclone actually is the same structure as a tornado. You've got the winding spinning wind. You've got the very fierce well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with water. That's all I'm gonna say is I think it's water. Now you want me to look it up. I mean, I'm sorry, now you're making me want to look it up. I'm tripping over my words here because actually I'm walking through the wet basement as we speak, and I'm very distracted by doing so, yeah. Yeah, it's still wet.
Just roll your your pant legs up and put some socks and shoes off and splash around.
Whee! Fortunately, it's not that wet, but it is wet. It's damp all over the place down here. I can still look at moistened boxes that used to have nice stuff in them that is now ruined. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's the shitty part of the weather that I like, is that it's very destructive.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
No, I love a good storm and this and that and the other thing. Not tornadoes and shit. We did get it was yellow towards the end of the evening. I thought it was coming because it was yellow outside in the atmosphere, and then it turned from yellow to just this bright and then dark purple, and then
the sky probably shouldn't do that. Yeah,
these dark clouds started rolling in, and so me and my wife were outside taking a look, and it was oh shit, fuck man, it's coming, and then nothing. No.
Were you huddled together like singing hymns and shit, holding each other?
She went upstairs.
Oh, that's lame. You should have made a big spectacle out of it. You should have prepared for your imminent demise.
I wanted her to go to bed. I wanted to play Elder Scrolls.
Fuck the apocalypse, I got this game.
Exactly.
And to be fair, you've been waiting for that game for a year and 8 months or some shit. Sure. So fair enough.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying that, by the way?
Oh, I dig it. It's pretty fun. The best way I can describe it is, it's an Elder Scrolls game. It's a little different. It's not as nice. I don't know, just little differences. Obviously, with a big, massive MMO with literally thousands of people playing at the same time as you, they can't do all the nice things that Elder Scrolls usually does for you. However, it does feel like an Elder Scrolls game. There doesn't seem to be a whole. Well, there is a main storyline kind of, but I don't know. It's not as gripping as the Elder Scrolls main storylines usually are.
Sure.
I guess the best I can describe is it kind of feels like you've already played through the main storyline and now you're just running around doing all the side quests.
That's actually a good way of putting that. I can picture that completely.
Yeah, which is still fun enough and everything. And I guess another way I feel one of the things that feels weird about it is I almost feel like instead of usually I play Elder Scrolls and it's obviously not online, it's by yourself, and you get it captures your imagination, you get lost in the world of of Tamriel, and you just I don't know, you feel like you're in this other world while you're playing the game. And in this one, kind of with so many other people, and you can kind of see what they're doing ahead of you, and you can tell they're kind of a little bit ahead of you in the same quest that you're doing, and they're talking to somebody, and then you run up and you talk to somebody. You kind of feel like you're at like a Renaissance fair or like a dinner theater or something, where like that guy's just kind of going over his same lines over and over again for every participant.
So you feel like the guy who gives you the quest, he just gave that same quest to like 10 other people before you. Yeah, exactly. He's tired and he wants to go home.
He's not even the same guy who did it yesterday. It's like some other like shorter guy comes out while he's on his lunch break.
A little bit.
Not even like selling it anymore. He's like,
he's just go over there, great hero. Grab the orb of seeing. Come on back.
That's just it. And then there's people with like with voice chat and shit and.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. See, we didn't have that in the beta. Or if we did, I had to deactivate it when I tried it.
So I did. I turned it all down. For a second, I thought about just going to the European server, so everybody at least had, like, a European accent.
So they had manners when they swore at you.
Or it wouldn't, like, take me out of my element as much as just, like, some kid from the Bronx.
Sure.
But,
I'm sure there's New York elves. Come on. That's discriminating.
I used to be a fucking traveler like you.
Till I took a fucking arrow in the fucking knee.
Forget about it, But, yeah, fucking, yeah, so I don't know. But it's great. Like I said, I've never really gotten into too many MMOs, and I tried WoW when it came out, when they had free trials, and while it was fun enough, it really wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
What I understand from some of the reviews I've read from people who are really into MMOs, they're actually quite impressed with how good the graphics are, with how good everything works, with how good the creative character is, and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to compare it to when it comes to the world of, MMO. But
sure.
I'm enjoying it. I like Elder Scrolls enough to where I'm enjoying it enough so far. So.
Well, you mentioned the stuff about it that you don't like. What are you doing in the game that you do find enjoyable? What's the good stuff that you look forward to playing?
I mean, aside from I miss like the things where if you're just in a room and you like jump on a table and run across it, all the little things standing on the table kind of get.
Oh, you can't do that now?
Yeah, everything's kind of static. You can't touch as many things and pick as many things up and that kind of stuff. So
that's
the kind of little it's not like it's shit you get over really quick in Elder Scrolls. You don't really care about it anymore. But the simple fact that they're Bethesda's usually so good to you with all the little subtleties of the game that make it so lifelike and realistic that it's kind of lacking in this. But at the same time, like I said, some of the stories are really fun. The voice acting is really good. The creative character is very cool. The creative armor is really the fucking crafting is amazing in this game. It's really in depth and really and really fun. And when you get like achievements, basically trophies for your PlayStation or whatever. You unlock different colors. You can go to a dyeing station. I don't know if they had this in the beta for you.
I think they may have. That sounds kind of familiar.
You can dye all your armor various colors, and there's and you can dye like 3 different colors per armor, so you can really make your armor look unique in its own. So every time you
cool.
Yeah, every time you unlock an achievement, you unlock a new color on the dye station. So. Yeah,
I would like that kind of customization. I always enjoy.
Yeah, you can really make it pretty fucking rad. And I'm not super far along because I got it opening night thinking, I stayed up until midnight and went to GameStop and I fucking picked it up and I thought I'd be playing, from then on. But obviously that's my fantasy world where I don't have kids and a wife and a job. I really have not been able to delve into it as much as I'd like to. So there's all these. I'm jealous of all these people at level 40 around me, and I think I hit level 12 tonight. I don't know. So
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, whatever. Again, too. This is a game that's I'm just going to be playing for a really long time. So I kind of just warmed up to the fact that take it slow, do your own thing. So that's what I've been doing. I've been really going through it really slowly, stopping at everybody who has a little quest thing over their head and taking care of all their quests and.
There you go.
Slowly doing some. The game rewards you for going off the beaten path and exploring. There's treasure chests all over the place. There's these gems hidden everywhere. If you collect 3 of these gems in the woods, they give you a skill point, a level up point, which you only get those when you level up. So to get extra level up on your abilities and attributes and shit, that's pretty fucking good reward just for doing a little extra exploring. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I dig it. I give it a thumbs up. I fucking, I obviously I can't wait until the next actual Elder Scrolls game, because for my money, playing that by yourself without a bunch of other people is where it's at. But I'm a big enough fan of that series where I don't want to miss out on any. So I'm going to delve into the online.
It's actually pretty cool hearing you say the things you just said because not that I take like personal credit for this, but I'm the one who really pushed the series on you. So it's really rewarding to see that you've fully you are just a flat out hardcore fan now, and I think that's awesome.
It almost makes up for the fact that you made me play that goddamn fucking Monkey Quest.
Monkey Quest. Monkey Quest.
Monkey Quest.
I had to do that to balance things out. I figured, well, he's having too much fun. I want to show him how the real world works. Speaking of,
I know
that
it's called the Spectacle of Monkey Island.
The monkey fibbly gibblebits.
That goddamn game.
Every episode, you're going to bring that up. And by all means do so. That'll be your thing. People will remember that, if anything, this podcast will be remembered by how much you hated Monkey Island.
The dumb one hates Monkey Island. Will be like the review. Just scrolling through reviews on fucking iTunes.
The dumb one hates Monkey Island.
Which is only because they can't see me, because then they just say the fat one hates Monkey Island.
You're not even fat anymore. You used to be chubby, I guess, but you lost tons of weight. You are not the child you used to be.
Yeah, it goes up.
I'm wrapping up the weight that you lost, so we're balancing out.
If you lose it, someone's got to find it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to move this on forward, so.
Well, I guess I was going to do the same. The direction I was going to go is that we haven't been able to talk about this. You and I individually saw Jurassic World.
Oh, we did.
That we did.
What did you think? I told you what I thought about it. What did you think about it?
Before I went in, I always try and get a consensus of what the critics think. And I always say this, you can't go by what the critics think, but I personally think that critics' opinions are a useful tool. It kind of prepares you for what kind of movie you're going to get. Not whether it's good or not, but.
thinks critics are useless tools, but.
See, I disagree. See, I mean, it's just a person's opinion, and granted, it's a more informed opinion because they've seen, many more movies than the average person. However, that doesn't mean that their tastes are good. Their tastes are, quote, correct. To me, basically what it is it doesn't prepare me for whether I should like the movie or not, because again, that's my own subjective viewpoint. What it does is it prepares me for what kind of movie-going experience I'm going to have. If 115 critics say this movie is bad because, the movie ends without, I don't know, an ending, like the film just stops mid-sentence, well, I'm going to want to know something like that. Whether I like it or not, that's still going to be up to me. So when I looked at the critical score for Jurassic World, I was expecting it would be bad because it was not screened for critics, and usually that's a sign that they have no faith in the movie. The studio thinks the movie's going to suck, so they don't want bad word of mouth to get out before opening weekend. And everybody was like, oh man, this movie's going to be shit. It's been, I think, 14 years since the last one.
I think a critic should have to go buy a fucking ticket. You're gonna go fucking run your mouth about shit you don't fucking know about. You should buy a ticket.
Well, what makes you think they don't know what they're talking about?
Just being a dick about that.
Oh, but, what's funny is that by being a dick like that, you sound almost completely like Kevin Smith, who said that very thing. When they bashed it, when they bashed whatever it was, I don't know if it was whatever Drive movie thing with Bruce Willis, whatever the fuck that was. Help me out. What was that movie?
Cop Out.
Cop Out, thank you. I think it may have been Cop Out.
Which actually isn't nearly as bad as everybody says.
I wouldn't doubt it. I've got my issues with him, but I don't think he's a poor filmmaker.
I'm a pretty big Tracy Morgan fan, though.
Oh, for sure. Tracy Morgan's great. Yeah.
I did not laugh at through the entire fucking movie. Huh?
I can believe that. It may have been that movie. I'm not sure if it was a different one, but either way, it was a Kevin Smith movie to where he's earned a little bit of a reputation for himself as being a little bit of a baby. People criticize his movies, and he flies off the handle.
Kind of. I wouldn't say it that way. He'll say it that way himself. I don't know. I guess if someone's the thing about critics is they think they should be able to go out and say what they have to say, and then no one's supposed to say anything back to them. Well, Kevin Smith says stuff back to them. I can admire that.
I look at it the other way. I mean, Kevin Smith strikes me as a guy who feels like if somebody doesn't like his movie, they're just a jerk and a dick and they're out to get him.
No, because
He's got that attitude, and a lot of the stuff I read, which is what I was about to say, he basically, just real quick, just to make the point, because otherwise I'm probably going to forget it, he said what you said. He said, whatever movie they didn't like, the critics, he said, yeah, well, you know what? You fucking didn't even have to pay to see my movie. How about this? How about you pay to see my movie? Then you have the right to bitch about it. Well, like, okay, fair enough, but that doesn't...
But he wasn't, see, but you're taking it out of context, because he was talking to a specific movie critic who got up in the middle of Clerks 2, walked out of it, and made a big commotion for everybody who...
No, that was a different... As far as I know, I could be... if I'm proven incorrect later, I'll admit to it, but I don't think that was actually the... I remember the case you're talking about, and I agree. There was a critic who just got up and stood up and made a big fact...
I listened to a show on Opie and Anthony, and they actually got a hold of that fucking movie... film critic with Kevin Smith on the line.
They sat down together and talked?
Well, yeah, because they got in a tiff about it, and Kevin Smith explained what he was pissed about, and the guy apologized, and Kevin Smith dropped it immediately. Well, thank you. Because it was rude. It was rude to the other people who may have been enjoying the movie.
Sure, and that's a perfectly valid... Yeah, that I have no beef with. I would be on his side, because the story, for those who don't know it, is basically, as you said, he was exhibiting Clerks 2, and it was like an auditorium full of critics, and one of them just, for whatever reason, got so bent out of shape by what he was witnessing that he stood up and just like waved his hands and said, oh my god, this movie's terrible, and he made a spectacle of himself, distracting from the movie for everybody else who, as you said, may have been enjoying it.
Right.
So yeah, granted, that's perfectly fine. That's not what I'm referring to.
Because nobody was enjoying it. But
Clerks 2? That's funny, because if anything, I'm usually the one who says, well, it wasn't that bad.
I like Clerks 2, actually.
Yeah, I liked it fair enough. Again, I think it was either Cop Out or something else, where he literally just and this is not an isolated incident. This happened with Red State. He bitched and bitched and bitched. Anyone who doesn't like his movies, he says that they're out of touch or they're impatient or whatever. I mean, Kevin Smith is a cool enough guy, but he's kind of a douche as far as people who don't like his movies. And granted...
Are you getting that from the horse's mouth, or are you getting that from critics who said what he said?
Say that again?
Are you getting your information from because I heard Kevin Smith say it, or are you getting it because I heard a guy write about what they said Kevin Smith said, and they may have been either paraphrasing or taking portions of what he had to say out of context?
All three sides. I hear it from Kevin Smith. I hear it from the critics who talk about, their own response to what Kevin Smith said, and I've heard it from write-ups of the scenario. I've heard all three sides.
Because I've heard Kevin Smith say stuff. I listen to his podcast quite a bit, a few of them, and I've always followed him because I'm a fan of his. And I've heard him say, I'm not going to say he's never said, went off on tangents and felt bad for himself. I've heard him make fun of himself for doing that. He's just like, I was all fucking butthurt and blah, 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 and this and that. And
yeah, I can picture that.
Yeah. So, he's a sensitive guy. He fucking cried. That's the Good Will Hunting.
He cried when fucking I'm not going to give anything away, but he cried 15 times describing The Dark Knight Returns.
Exactly.
For fuck's sake, I'm not even exaggerating. He's a little bit fragile.
I think he cried during Lost World, if I'm not mistaken.
Jurassic World or The Lost World?
The Jurassic World. I could be mistaken. I know he really enjoyed the movie, but yeah, he's that kind of guy. So he does wear his heart on his sleeve, and
that's not anything against him.
I have read people they'll write about things that he said that I've heard him say, and they didn't exactly paint the same picture as the way he said things. So I'm just making sure.
Well, what I'm referring to, and this has been at least a year since I actually read this, so I don't actually have the quotes in front of me, but he said something along the lines of whatever ex-critic who didn't like, he was actually responding to the critic in question. I think he was on his blog or Twitter or whatever, and he basically said, you didn't even pay, who are you to pass judgment on my movie, et cetera, et cetera. How about this? You pay to see my movie, then you have the right to bitch about it. And while I can understand that sentiment, it's it doesn't really work that way. You're not immune to criticism just because somebody didn't give you something.
No, I get it because he's going by the premise that everybody says, especially with pro wrestling. I bought my ticket. If you bought your ticket, you have the right to
sure. More of a right, at least.
So basically what he's saying is, well, dude, the guy wrote a whole big thing about how it was such a chore to watch his movie. It's well, fucking A, you got to see it for free, man. Fuck you.
If that is, I don't know if that was what the critic actually said. He might not have, because again, Kevin Smith, while some of these arguments that he's made are logical, there are other times to where he's kind of, like I said, a little bit of a whiner when somebody doesn't like his movie. I don't, really choose sides. I mean, there's stuff I don't like about Kevin Smith, but there's tons of stuff I don't like about critics, so fair enough.
I support the fact that Critics are critics, and it's easy to be a critic sometimes because you're not putting art out there for other people.
Well, it's easier to criticize than to create.
Exactly. So, a lot of times critics think that I'm the final word, and I'm going to say
that's true.
Blah blah blah, and enough's been said. Move on to the next movie. Well, hold on. Let's slow my roll here. I have something to say back to your shitty fucking review of that movie. So whatever. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with someone responding to a critic.
It wasn't that he responded to him. It was that he seemed to have an entitled attitude when he did. Which, if that was an isolated incident, it wouldn't have stood out as much. But he's developed a little bit of history of doing just that.
Sure.
But regardless, though,
it actually reminds me of Quentin Tarantino. When,
that's another good example.
Spike Lee was giving him a hard time about his movies, and someone had asked him in an interview if, Spike Lee was going to approve of this movie or whatever, and he said something, I'm paraphrasing here, along the lines of, if that little man wants to see my movie, he's got to buy a ticket. In his weird little Quentin Tarantino voice.
With his weird little Weasley Quentin Tarantino expression.
Spike Lee a little man.
There's Spike Lee and there's John Singleton, who in my opinion, I know that you're not really fond of I think Spike Lee's a fucking douchebag, but I do like several of his movies. A quick tangent. There's not a single movie of his that he's done that you enjoy.
I was recommending.
And if not,
what's the name of that bank heist movie that everybody said was good?
Dead Presidents.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking. Did he direct Dead Presidents?
Now that you mention it, I don't think he did.
Because I like Dead Presidents. I actually like Dead Presidents quite a bit, but I don't think he directed that.
I don't think he did either. The more you mention that, I think you're right.
There was some bank robbery movie or at least that's the impression I got. I started watching it and I couldn't get into it. I don't know. It was when everybody was like, yeah, it's a Spike Lee movie. It's really good. Check it out. I don't know. Do the Right Thing, I didn't really care for. Jungle Fever.
No, I wasn't a fan of Do the Right Thing. Never saw Jungle Fever.
Summer of Sam, I didn't really care for, and that's a movie that's right up my alley, actually.
You did bring up some good examples.
Yeah, Malcolm X, I didn't care for. I liked the Mike Tyson spoken word thing on HBO that I think he helped direct, actually.
He did, as far as I know, he did direct that.
Yeah.
And again, I could be wrong since I was wrong about Dead Presidents.
But that was also Mike Tyson telling his life story.
Sure.
And it's not like it was Spike Lee directing somebody else playing Mike Tyson telling his life story and doing a good job. It was legitimately Mike Tyson telling his life story.
Exactly. How hard could it be to just stand there with the camera and make sure that you get that on tape,
Right. And, so show a little film montage in the background, that kind of thing. But
fair enough.
I can't think of a Spike Lee movie that I thought was awesome. No.
One of his smaller, more independent movies. Well, I don't want to say independent, but I guess low budget, very very small, very quiet kind of indie movie. Bamboozled. I enjoyed that. Get on the Bus. I really really liked. It's just a straight up philosophical movie about just a bunch of black people from different walks of life. It's like a cross section of the black community just on a trip to the Million Man March, and they just discuss black issues. It's just all discussion of black issues, and I found it captivating. I thought it was fantastic.
Is that like a documentary?
No, it's a straightforward. It's a straight up fictional drama.
Okay.
You've got like a cop who's half black, half white. He's a cop that stirs up some issues with the other guys on the bus. You've got a narcissistic black actor played by Andre Braugher, who's a great actor, fantastic actor. You have at one point you have what's his name? I was going to say Harvey Winkler. What's the guy's name? The guy that Hulk Hogan put in a headlock and dropped on his head and nearly killed. What's that guy's name? I can't remember who he is.
Everybody he's ever wrestled?
Oh, that's great. Yes.
In fairness, that's Bill Goldberg.
Did I ever show you that clip? I'm sure I did, where Hulk Hogan actually puts this guy in a headlock in like 1985 or whatever, and unceremoniously drops him on the stage, and he cracks his head and starts bleeding. And Mr. T is next to him, and he says, "He just sleeping. He just sleeping." Richard Belzer.
Okay.
Richard Belzer, yes. Richard Belzer at one point is driving the bus, and he's white, so that stirs up animosity. Basically what I'm getting at is just the movie just explores different aspects of what it is to be black. And again, I found it just a riveting movie. I loved it. Charles S. Dutton of Alien 3, your favorite and mine. He's in the movie.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So what the hell am I talking about? Yeah, so Spike Lee. How did we get to fucking Spike Lee? Let's backtrack. We had Spike Lee. We were talking about, I guess let's just bounce right back to...
We're talking about Kevin Smith, and I said that...
the Quentin Tarantino thing. Yeah.
Calling him a little man. Who needs to buy a ticket?
Oh, that's right. That's why I brought up Spike Lee. I was going to say Spike Lee and John Singleton were both really big directors in the 90s, both black. And I can't remember exactly what the movie was. It was Fear of a Black Hat, which is kind of like CB4, which you liked better. I've never actually seen CB4, but I love Fear of a Black Hat.
CB4 and Fear of a Black Hat are both great.
Was CB4, that wasn't Chris Rock, was it?
Yes.
Was it really?
Yep,
wow, okay, that must have been early.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're talking like early SNL days.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's a great fucking movie, actually, yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out then. All right. Yeah, it was Fear of a Black Hat where they lampooned the Spike Lee character, and obviously because they couldn't come right out and say, hey, we're making fun of Spike Lee, they combined the name Spike Lee and John Singleton to make this little, like, 4-foot-tall, angry black guy, and they gave him the name Jike Spingleton. That's just the best thing in the world. Jike Spingleton. This whole thing led up to that. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I love it. So anyway, moving back. The critics said about Jurassic World, it was pretty unanimous. They didn't hate it like everybody expected them to. The critics finally got a hold of it just on release night like everybody else. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it's about a 71%.
I hope they bought
Go ahead.
I hope they had to buy a
ticket.
ticket.
Yeah, hopefully they all bought tickets.
I had to buy a ticket. I have an opinion about movies. I watch lots of them. I got to pay like every time. So
yeah, I don't get the amount of free movies that I would enjoy.
Yeah. You know.
The earlier sequels in the Jurassic Park franchise got about a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. Again, this is not authoritative. This is just for point of reference. The original Jurassic Park is beloved. I love it. You love it. Anybody in their right mind loves that movie. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's just a great, great time. The sequels, which you and I should get into at some point, today, later, whatever, I'm of the opinion that neither of them were really all that great.
I am of the minority opinion that 3 was better than 2.
Other than the trailer scene in part 2 where Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore and, if I remember right, Vince Vaughn for some random reason are hanging over the side of a cliff, and the T-Rexes are trying to knock it over the cliff, and it's just a tremendously well done set piece. Other than that, there's really not a lot that I even remember about the second Jurassic Park movie, whereas the third one I thought was just good stupid fun.
Well, it's just that I hated The Lost World so bad that I didn't even care about seeing the third one for a long time.
So see now I saw the second one in the theater, and I was disappointed, but I still thought it was kind of okay. You like actively disliked it then. You just wow.
I'm not a fan. I own like the trilogy I bought on like a box set till to this day. Have not watched The Lost World on it again.
Ever again. Wow.
I almost didn't want to watch the third one because of it, and then I finally did pop it in one day. I said, oh, whatever, and I quite enjoyed it actually. I thought it was much better.
That is still the minority opinion, but it seems like it's one of those things to where it's getting kind of a groundswell. Like over the years, I've noticed more and more people kind of like bravely saying, they raise their hands. I didn't really care too much for the second one either. And it's like, oh, heresy. No, the second one, this Jurassic Park is a magical, awe-filled, just adventure of fun. The second movie, The Lost World, it's dour, it's grim, it's bland, it's blah. It's just whatever. It's not a fun movie.
Well, the first one's asking you to take some off-the-wall concepts and believe, and the second one's just asking you to be fucking stupid.
It does ask you to watch a little girl combat a raptor with acrobatics. It does ask you that. I remember that scene. Do you?
No, thank you.
Good. Yeah, it's for the best. Anyway, Jurassic World, people are basically, the critics started saying in growing unison, wow, wait a minute, this is actually probably the best one since the original. They said, it's not particularly smart, it's not particularly inventive, it's not really particularly fresh, but you know what it is? It's fun. It's just a good, silly, fun blockbuster. Yeah. When I went to, just real quick, just to get to my point, when I saw it in the theater, I completely agree with that sentiment. I thought that was spot on.
Yeah, it was exactly what I expected it to be, and I'm glad I went and saw it in the theater. Cause
definitely, I am too.
I don't know if I would have had as much fun just sitting at home watching it.
Do you still feel that way now that you've seen it and you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe like if I had a few people in the room that I hadn't seen it yet, just sitting by myself at home, probably not as fun. I was in a theater with people who were quite enjoying it as I was, so there was oohs and ahs and laughter and
sure.
Stuff, so.
Well, that's the way to see a movie like Jurassic World.
Exactly. When I saw Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, the theater was packed, standing room only.
So literally, same here.
And there was just applause in the middle of the movie and laughter, and it was like awe-inspiring, and it was fucking great, man. I mean, kids today will never get, like, when we were young and saw Star Wars, or we saw Jurassic Park, or, Jurassic Park, probably looks cheesy and bad now, but, in scenes, but it was the first really well done, like, CGI movie, basically.
Yeah, that movie and Terminator 2 are frequently cited as, like, the two, like, groundbreaking CGI movies ever.
And I will argue that Terminator 2 does not hold up nearly as well in quality.
Yeah, we had that discussion. I'm surprised that you said that.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love it, and I can look past it, but it does not, it doesn't hold up as well. Jurassic Park actually does, but
I've seen that more and more often, more frequently, more recently, I should say. So I think I would probably have to agree. I have two distinct, fairly pronounced, distinct complaints about Jurassic World. I'll get to them in a minute. I want to hear more about what you thought about it, because I never really heard what you said.
My distinct, I was obviously, the whole reason you want to go see it is because the fucking park's open and full of people, and you know chaos is going to ensue. So you're like, all right, I want to see this shit. I want to see fucking the dinosaurs get out of their cages and everybody run in terror and a few people get eaten and all that shit, which happens.
It does happen.
But not to the extent that I would have liked.
Not as much chaos, not as much...
more of that. I honestly wish there would have been more of that, and I was really disappointed because they really just kind of stuck to a few different species of dinosaurs. There was not as many types of dinosaurs as I would have liked to have seen out of their cages running rampant and causing chaos.
Yeah, at least not focused on. There were some in the background, just like in little side scenes, but they were just kind of window dressing. They weren't the focus.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. There's some pterodactyls and some raptors and a couple of things, but that was really it. Yeah, fair enough. My complaints both specifically have to do with the idea of it being a park, an open operating park. And it's a bummer to say this because these were the two things that I was hoping for the most, and I didn't quite get them. It was still, again, I still enjoyed the movie and would gladly see it again. However, two things bug me. For one thing, they didn't explain the fact that there's this operational park in the slightest. It was just like, hey folks, come see Jurassic World. The park's open. Yeah. Okay, well, did something happen between like when all those people got massacred in the last one and now? Well, that's just it.
Like the park's just back open?
I feel like they just kind of let's just not discuss that second island and move on and just none of that ever happened, and then all of a sudden, because obviously if you believe that Jurassic, if you believe the Lost World happened and Jurassic Park 3 happened, there's no way they're getting licensing to open that shit.
Exactly. And fair enough. I mean, they kind of worked themselves into a corner, but I couldn't get that out of my head while I was watching the movie. I kept on wanting... I'm going to do as well as I can to avoid spoilers, but there's a character in the movie who has a specific scene of dialogue where he references owning some Jurassic Park merchandise from the fictional park that existed in the movie's universe. Right. And I thought, that's cool. I want to see more of that. I want to see discussion of the old park. I want to see them discuss what happened between then and now. I mean, because again, there's kind of a lot between, there's a Tyrannosaurus rampaging through the streets of California and, hey, we have Jurassic World open. And like, there's not a problem here. So there was no, and I guess that's what the critics were talking about, where they said that there wasn't a whole lot of intelligence to the script and whatever. I mean, again, that's a subjective opinion, but I can see what they were talking about. The other thing that bugged me, the movie was really good about hitting nostalgic points, but in my opinion...
There was a lot of Easter eggs, too.
There were quite a few, actually. A ton that I didn't even notice. When I went online the other day, I saw on, Huffington Post or whatever, they had a list of a bunch that I hadn't even checked out. Oh, wow. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't even know a list that existed. I'm sure
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, there you go. It's not something you specifically think to seek out, and I just happened to find it, and there were like 20 different things.
Just a bunch of throwback shit from the original one, so it was cool.
Sure. It was. And because I love the first movie so much, the first Jurassic Park to me is a very meaningful movie, not just because I loved it and because it was new and fresh and exciting, which it was, but because it came at the most formative time in my entire life. It was 1993. Our house had caught on fire. I was living in a hotel for 3 months. I had my first kiss. My parents got separated. I mean, 1993 was huge, and Jurassic Park was smack in the middle of it. So that movie to me is like a landmark. So I have a lot of really good fond memories of it. So when this movie, Jurassic World, is making all kinds of visual references references to it, that felt really good. However, it almost felt as if the director was in a hurry just to hit all those beats and then quickly move on. And by that I mean, I'll give you an example. They show the gates, the giant Jurassic Park gates. It's iconic. You know, the characters start going into the gates open, and the camera pans up, and you see Jurassic World. And it's like, you get kind of, you know, you get that feeling of nostalgia, like, wow, this is so cool. I'm going back into a Jurassic Park again for the first time in 22 years. But the camera only, like, sits on the Jurassic Park sign for, like, 2 seconds, then it cuts to something else. There's another scene where there's, like, a shot in the woods where they just have, like, you know, some characters in the park, some park attendees, some tourists are just canoeing down a river, and dinosaurs are just walking along with them. And it's like, it's just a side element. Again, it's window dressing. It's just like a quick little moment of, oh, hey, what's going on over there? Oh, okay, we're not going to focus on that. We're going to get back to the plot. Like, there's all these little moments showing what normally in a different movie would be moments of awe and majesty and excitement. And instead, in this movie, they're just kind of like, they're just little bits of background. They're just kind of like, hey, isn't that cool? Ah, that's neat. Moving on. And I didn't like that. The movie felt rushed in a way in that way. Sure. I don't know if I'm describing it well enough, but I mean,
you are, because like I'm big on things like that too, and
nostalgia.
Slowing it, and nostalgia and character development. I mean,
that was another issue.
Why do I care if a guy gets eaten if I don't care about his fucking character?
And that's a very good point.
I mean, well, me being just the prick I am is always going to root for the dinosaur anyways. But I fucking, you know, even with being a huge horror movie fan, I don't care how fun the horror movie is. If you don't spend a good 20 minutes, half hour building up those characters to either love, hate, or what have you, care one way or another about them, who cares when they die?
Yeah.
Or who are you rooting for to live? Or who, yeah, so, I don't know.
The development was pretty perfunctory. In the commentary for the movie Speed, they said, and I paraphrase, I'm probably going to get this wrong, they said there are actor-driven movies, they said there are effects-driven movies and there are plot-driven movies. And they said, guess which one this is? Right. And, yeah, you can kind of apply that to Jurassic World as well. You know, and again, fair enough.
All this stuff being said, I completely expected this movie to be just what that was. I expected it to be a fun, romp, popcorn movie, that it was exciting and good special effects and a fun time, and it delivered on all those. So,
I would agree with a caveat. Basically, what I'm thinking is I felt the same way. I felt that it was a good, fun, silly throwaway. Not even throwaway. It was good. It was entertaining. I'll gladly watch it again. It was a fun, good popcorn movie, very satisfying for what I expected it to be. However, it could have been a little more if they had wanted it to, and I wish they did. I wish they had wanted to. That's all.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it was a good time. So there you go.
Yeah. For sure.
So, moving on. Do you have any news for us today?
Yeah, we got a few news stories. First one here, that the Super Nintendo classic Super Mario World has just been beaten with artificial intelligence.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, we all know how to successfully clear the first few levels of Super Mario title. How would a computer do on its own? You know, no prior knowledge of the game. Using a self-learning artificial intelligence, one computer program managed to successfully battle its way through Super Mario World.
That's frightening.
Albeit with a lot of lost lives. It's basically a software known as the Marl/O.
Okay.
Put together by Seth Bling. He's a coder with
Do you think that's his real name, by the way?
Seth Bling. Do you think he wears a lot of bling?
If I coded a program that could beat a video game just by being smart enough to do so, I'd want a lot of bling.
Basically, by incentivizing the computer to explore to the right of the playing field, should anything prevent its progress, such as a Goomba or a Koopa Troopa, the code would safely return to this spot and try something else to advance the next time around.
Interesting.
So, after 30 or so lives, the computer code had managed to find its way to the exit of the Donut Plains. In the Bling's video below, it shows a video on this, story I'm reading here, which we're not going to show you the video via the iPod because it doesn't work that way.
It would be kind of a difficult thing for the podcast, yeah.
But actually, the video, if you watch it, it shows the computer just like storming through the fucking level once it has it figured out. It just rips right through it.
So it does it very tactically, very expertly, just like whizzes and dodges all the. Wow, okay,
yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty fucking neat.
So today we've got computers defeating Super Mario World, and tomorrow they're going to figure out how to break into our houses and hold us hostage.
Step 1, defeat Super Mario World. Step 2, Skynet.
Yeah, there you go.
Step 3, Judgment Day.
Oh, it's coming. It's promised.
There you go.
Wow.
All right. Well, Capcom announces Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Okay.
It's a compilation that focuses on the Blue Bombers' 6 NES outings, as well as the faithful recreations of the original games. The game is to offer extra material for fans, a brand new challenge mode that will showcase remixed gameplay for veterans and newcomers, while the museum mode is to offer the original concept drawings, artwork, history, that kind of thing. So basically, you'll be able to pick it up on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the PC, and the Nintendo 3DS. So,
okay.
I think they're all going to be digital-only downloads.
Of course they are, because that's the way our society is going.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. I don't want the convenience of actually having something that I can own and reliably look out for myself. I prefer trusting a third party to maintain it for me.
And now I've got some news that I don't know how to feel about this. It kind of bums me out. I kind of don't like this. I'm kind of probably going to stop ever shopping here again, because I kind of just hate the fucking store. Unless they want to sponsor our podcast, in which case I love you guys, store. The GameStop is...
I knew it.
Now going to offer retro games and consoles.
Now going to? In other words, now they're going to go back to doing what made them interesting in the first place?
They found out that people like the guy in town here that likes to, has scratches by a little bit of a living catering to people like you and me who love retro games. And
sure.
And they're going to just drive up the price.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to be, he's going down, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, no, well, luckily for him, he also, does board games and RPG games and Magic the Gathering and that shit and shows events, and so he has other things. But yeah, it's going to cut into his fucking business, that's for sure.
And you're right, it will be overpriced because that's what they do.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, fuck them. I honestly hate GameStop. I really fucking do.
I can't really develop the passion to hate them. I'm kind of indifferent. I worked for them twice and didn't really like either time. It was kind of an eye-opening experience.
It was a different era when they weren't as...
Oh, and they were still shitty. Yeah.
They were Funko Land when you worked for them, right?
Yeah, technically not even Land, just plain Funko. I worked for them in the fall of '95, and it was okay. It was nice. That's still for people who don't know. GameStop used to be just Funko. Used to be a lot of things, Software, etc., Babbage's. They all merged together into the evil conglomerate that they are now. But when it was Funko, it was just all retro systems that you could play any game you wanted in the store. They just go behind, they get out of their desk and they put a game in a console for you to play, to try out before you bought it. They were consumer friendly. They were all about, just whatever. They were all about the games. That started to change. It became Funko Land. It became GameStop. And now it's just all about the mighty dollar. So, I just don't even shop there anymore. So I can't even say that I hate them because I prefer not to even be there.
Yeah, so honestly, I won't be buying any retro games. I don't care if it's a game I've been looking for fucking ever. I'm not buying it there.
Fortunately for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I've
podcast. I love you, GameStop. Give me some money.
See how quick we sell out.
Well, fucking it, man. I got kids to feed.
I don't, but I want money.
There you go.
Money's good.
If they sponsor our podcast, I'm going to take that money and buy retro games somewhere fucking else.
Don't tell them that. You're giving away our mighty plan. I don't know.
That's about all I have for the news.
Well, are there any details about that? Do they actually say when this is going to start, or if it's going to be all classic consoles or anything like that? Do they?
Not exactly when it's going to start. I didn't see that. I think they're going to cover everything, man. It seemed like it. Maybe not, probably not every time.
I'm sure not super obscure. Yeah,
exactly. I doubt you'll go there and find Neo Geo and shit like that. But
yeah, I don't know.
You never know.
I'm with you, though. It's kind of hard to know how to feel about that. The availability is nice. Getting it into a new generation of gamers is nice. But for GameStop to be the one who's doing it, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. I'm not fucking... It's a bummer. It is. It honestly is.
Monopolies aren't good, kids. They just really aren't.
No, well... exactly. They're the Walmart of fucking... I don't know. And
you're right. We hate them too, unless you also want to sponsor us, Walmart.
Well, you paint yourself into a corner eventually where you don't have choices. Look at the modern state of wrestling.
I was just going to say WWE.
Sucks. You only have the WWE, really, and it sucks.
And it's terrible. Yeah.
There's no competition. There's.
I'm with you.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I do my best. To shop at locally owned businesses and that kind of thing. And that's what I will do. I will continue to get my retro video gaming elsewhere.
Fortunately, most of the retro games that I ever wanted to own, I've managed to acquire over the years. So for the most part, I don't have any more of that kind of shopping to do. But I'm sure I'll spot something at GameStop and I'll want it. But I'll have to fight the urge.
Yeah, I don't know. I got my Elder Scrolls Online game there out of convenience more than anything. But that's whatever.
Oh, that's what they're banking on.
Yeah.
Did they even remember you when you went in to get it?
Oh, there was a lot of people there at midnight, actually. There was a lot of fucking people there.
That's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. I was shocked. I was lucky. They let you in at 9 o'clock, actually, to sign up, and I was the first one there to do that. So when I went back at midnight, I had the number one spot to pick up my game.
Oh, did you? Cool. You didn't tell me that.
There was a huge line of people, and I got to get my game and get on my merry way really fast.
Did you wear, like, a stupid, like, wizard outfit?
I did.
Good.
I always wear a stupid wizard outfit.
I mean, of course. When have you known me not to?
I did not, actually. I wore my Blackhawks sweater because the Blackhawks will play in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Which they won, we should point out.
My fucking Chicago Blackhawks are the third time winning the Stanley Cup in 6 years, which is fucking unheard of. Is
it literally unheard of? Is that a record?
Yeah, in modern hockey. There was teams that did it back when there was no salary cap, so... In the salary cap era, they're basically the only modern day dynasty in hockey, which is pretty hard to do. Basically, when there's a salary cap, when there's no salary cap, you can be like the New York Yankees and baseball.
Well, yeah, you can poach everybody.
Yeah, you can just pay top dollar, and then the Red Wings did that for fucking ever and just bought the best players and fucking. But when there's a salary cap, you can only spend so much money on your team. So if, like, say a guy that does really well and gets a new contract deal, and you want to re-sign him, and he wants to, cash in big because he's been performing for you, then it means you can't afford to hire as many really good players because they want to get paid too. So that other really good player that was used to be on your team, with that guy is going to go to a different team to get his payday. So. It's kind of hard to keep a good team together, a good core group of people. But we have a really good coach, and we have some really good players that I think they feel like they're making enough money, and they'd rather just be on a really good team that's winning hockey games. So it's pretty fun.
That's good. It's good to see that when that happens, because that reminds me of basically the opposite of the Harry Shearer situation that's going on now. I don't know if you're at all aware of that.
Harry Shearer?
Harry Shearer of The Simpsons. He does Mr. Burns, Flanders. He apparently, no one is quite for sure if this is just like a thing, a joke, or whatever. Like, no one knows quite what's going on next. But apparently he, over the last like 3-4 months, probably a little bit fresher than that, he quit. He tried to they all tried, as far as I know, they all tried to renegotiate their salaries for the next, whatever, like 2 seasons of The Simpsons. And he, for years, I don't know really what the guy's beef is, but for years he's been bitching that the show sucks, which, to be fair, it does. But he's also been saying that he deserves more money or whatever. They should be paid more or whatever. All the cast but him, all the major principal cast members but him resigned. He quit. He walked. His official reason is that investors in the show are making large profits that he's not getting, which, fine, fair enough. That's, fair is fair, and I can, respect that argument. At the same time, the guy gets more money than the president to offer 5 minutes of his voice per week for like $300,000 per.
In fairness, he gets more accomplished than the president does anyway.
And now, I mean, realistically speaking, he does, like, one of the things that they said was, okay, look, we will let you do this fucking job from the comfort of your sofa. You can do it over the fucking phone. And he still didn't want to do it. And it's like, you know what, man, fucking, I guess times really are tough everywhere, aren't they? $300,000 is really not enough. And again, fair is fair. If you feel you're entitled to something, I understand. That's a valid argument. It's not a matter of I deserve more money. It's a matter of I feel I'm earned this. That much I can understand. But again, the other part of me says, dude, at some point, how many millions of dollars per year to speak into a phone do you need before you sound like kind of a greedy dick?
Well, at the end of the day, one could say, how much money does Fox have to rake in where they can't give the guy another $100,000 a year?
Now, to counter that, are the animators getting $300,000 per episode to draw the character?
Well,
Are the writers getting
3 cents a day because they're...
Oh, well, are they not... There you go. Are they not just as responsible, if not more so, for bringing that character to life? The writers who come up with the jokes and the dialogue that makes the character interesting, are they getting... Is he going to bat for them? No. He's just whatever. I make plenty of money, but I need more. Dude,
well,
you know what?
Sounds to me like a guy who's like, you know what? I don't even want to do it anymore. If they want to pay me enough to want to do it again, then so be it. But until then fuck it.
And that's his prerogative.
Yeah, good for him.
I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it. I mean, again, the rest of the cast is the Blackhawk situation. They said, look, we like money, but we're going to stick together to do what's in the best interest of everybody else, not just... well, of course they're saying it, but I don't know if it's true.
Is their salary public? I mean, are they making the same as him? Or
As far as what's been released that I have seen, and again, I don't follow this regularly or anything, so this could have changed or whatever. It could be out of date, whatever. As far as I understood, all the cast members have been getting the same amount of money for they're all locked into the same deals, the same amount of money per episode, et cetera, et cetera. They got a raise about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. I think they were making like $200 to $300 per episode, $300,000 per episode. Then they started making, I think, $4. Fox had to whatever. They felt they had to renegotiate, and they agreed to take a salary drop. They agreed to take a new deal that gives them, I think, like $250,000 per episode, something like that. Either way, they went down. They agreed to go down.
$300,000 per episode?
Yeah, this is per 22-minute episode. Yeah, this is not per year. This is per fucking episode.
Wow.
$200,000 to $300,000 per episode. So, I mean, again, like I said, fair is fair, and I'm a big fan of justice, but at the same time, you put things into perspective and you think, again, how many hundreds of $1 million do I need to talk on the phone? Like, seriously.
I have to imagine the guy's just at a point where he's like, I don't even want to do it.
Well, again, he's been bitching about that. He's been very vocal about the fact that he doesn't think the show is good anymore. And again, I side with that. Whenever I watch the show anymore, which is rarely, I really don't like it. So,
yeah, it's not as good as it has been, that's for sure.
No,
I'm sure
that's for sure.
I'm sure there's episodes now and again that are better than others, but...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to say. I don't know. Again, sorry, another side tangent, but the Blackhawks thing reminded me of it because, again, you said that, basically they said, hey, it doesn't matter how much money we're making. We're doing this because we love it. We want to, form a cohesive unit.
At least a core, group of like 4 guys. They always have they have this core group of like 4 or 5 guys that are just awesome hockey players. And, every cup they've won has had like a mix, those guys and like a few other guys, so.
And then you got the jobbers. They suck.
Well, not the jobbers, but what you end up getting is like people who are good or people at the end of their career. That's why they keep winning. You'll get a couple of guys that have played their whole career that are still really productive and good that are like, well, fuck, man, I really would love to win the Stanley Cup before I retire. So they'll go play for, they might take a pay cut to go to the Hawks to give it.
But see, that's what I mean, though. See, it's a point of pride. Then they want to accomplish something that they feel is great. Yeah. Whereas, again, like Harry Shearer, he's not a bad person if he doesn't feel that way. And I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I don't know. But I like to see that. I like to see, it's not about the money. It's about this thing I'm bringing to life. I wish there was more of that.
Yeah, and, the fucking Stanley Cup's the hardest fucking trophy to win in sports, that's for sure.
Okay, well, there you go.
Gonna rock the town without being seen. Have you ever seen a turtle get down? Slamming and jamming to the new swing sound. Yeah, everybody must move. Vanilla is filled with the new jack groove. Gonna rock and roll the place with the power of the ninja turtle bass. Iceman, I'm not playing. Devastate the show what the turtles are saying. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Go, 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 go. Go ninja, go ninja, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Lyrics, fill in the gap. Drop that bass and get the ninja rap. Just feel it. If you know what I mean, give it up for the heroes in
There you go.
All right, 1991 is the year.
We're talking about 1991.
That's the year in the arcade that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time was released.
That's a lot of totally turbo tubulicious fucking alliteration in that title.
It was a lot of alliteration. We've already done a game from 1991, so I've gotten into some of the songs that were playing that year and that kind of thing in a past episode, so I won't beat a dead horse with that too much. What happened in 1991? Some significant things. Oh, that was the year that Nintendo cereal, the one where you got the Legend of Zelda side of the box and the Super Mario side of the box, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cereal, which was
just like Chex Mix, wasn't it? Wasn't it just like little nets or something?
Rice Chex with like marshmallow Marbits in it.
It was Marbits and I swear to God, Ninja Nets.
Exactly, yes.
I'm not making it up.
That was the year that both of those cereals were put to rest.
Oh, they ended in 91. That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was it wasn't just because I was a biased fanboy, though I admittedly was. I actually legitimately liked the taste of that Mario cereal.
Oh, that Mario cereal was really good. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, you had Zelda, which was the berry, and then Mario, which was the fruit.
Yeah, well, yeah, both are fruit, but the tropical was like the Mario.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're talking about specifically tropical fruits as opposed to like a well, I guess it would have been probably raspberry, strawberry, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was good stuff.
It was.
If you've never tried that, run out eBay, get yourself
buy an old box now, get sick. Send us a video.
What else happened? What else? Oh, that was the year the Neo Geo home console system was released.
Yeah. Well, the Neo Geo, we don't have a whole lot to say about that because I've never. Have you ever even touched one? I don't recall.
Pretty sure that they don't exist.
I don't think they ever did.
I have played one. From what I understand, at a home console Neo Geo, I've never seen one.
Right.
I've played it in the arcade lots of times, and from what I understand, it's the exact same shit.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So, Sega CD came out in 1991 in the U.S.
I was about to say, I'm a fan of that system. I bought it for the Secret of Monkey Island. We won't go there again.
I know. Another reason why Sega CD is worth it. And the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, that it did. I'd say about October, November of 91. I remember those days.
Oh, yeah. Good year.
Good times. Very good year. Though as far as that goes, I actually hated 91 otherwise. That was 7th grade, and I hated junior high. Everyone says high school sucks. I hated junior high. I loved high school.
Yeah, I can't say. I mean, I didn't love junior high. There's things I loved about it at that time in my life. School wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I can't say I wasn't that I was a fan at the time. I flunked art class, and humble as I can be, Mrs. Lyon, I think was her name. Remember her?
I got along with her really well.
For some reason, she just fucking had an axe to grind with me.
Wow.
And I'm not the kind of guy who lets a teacher give him the axe who doesn't give it back, and that obviously didn't get me very far. So fuck it.
I butted heads with Mr. Gray.
See, now I loved Mr. Gray. That's funny.
Everybody loved Mr. Gray.
He was famous, yeah.
I got along with the guy fine. When it came to my artwork is where I butted heads with him, and I'd get very mad with him because he was a very, very nice guy, very cool guy. I've actually seen him.
Prim and proper.
Yeah. He passed away not too long ago, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, okay.
Yeah. But, he was fine. But I butted heads with him in class when it came to my artwork because he would give you suggestions. And if you didn't, take his suggestion and do it, he would mark your fucking grade down. That's
kind of lame for an art teacher.
Right.
He probably shouldn't have been doing that.
Exactly. And it wasn't well, you should use this technique and you should really tighten the technique up. I could see marking that down. He'd be like, well, you should put a cloud right here or something, later when he finds, no cloud there, he's upset,
F, no cloud.
I think F where the cloud would have went or something. Right
with his own cloud drawn around it with a frowny face.
Yeah, so
that's terrible. I didn't know that. Wow.
Right. I remember one time I got really mad and he gave me all these suggestions and I knew that's what he did to my last one, so I did everything he wanted me
Opposite.
to do.
Oh, you did. You did everything he wanted.
I did everything he wanted and then I signed his name to it and turned it in.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. That's a classic story. Here you go, sir. It's your fucking drawing.
Pissed him off too.
Oh, see that I would have to say hypothetically speaking, I guess I don't know, but if I were a teacher, I would have seen that and said, that's pretty good. That kid got me. Nice job.
Well,
Because you did.
because art's subjective, and that's
Exactly.
That's my fucking drawing, man.
I don't even remember how I got flunked, other than, again, the fact that I just flat out just did not like the art teacher, Mrs. Lyon, or whatever the fuck it was, and she didn't like me. Yeah. Oh, she was such a bitch to me, total bitch.
In junior high, I got in a lot of trouble, and I didn't do very well in a lot of my classes because I just got bored and just didn't care. And she was like, she was shocked. They had like a conference with my mom and some of my teachers, and she was like surprised that I had issues in any other classes because of how well I got along with her in her class.
To me, that's shocking. That's like the opposite of what I experienced. That's so weird. I mean, I remember going home with my report card. My parents were like, "Well, how did you get an F in art class?" And I said, "I don't know. How did I get an F?" They laughed it off because, again, I'm not going to try and masturbate myself here, but I'm really not the worst artist in the world.
You're rather good.
Thank you. Yeah. So when I flunked, it was like, okay, it's whatever. Right. Yeah. I don't know. 91 for me was I don't know. That's when I first started really kind of developing my anxiety disorder. For the people who are listening and who care, I have a severe generalized anxiety disorder, which is why a lot of the time I talk really fast and get anxious and trip over my words like I just did. It's just a thing. And I think in junior high, that's when I really started kind of developing like problems with teachers and shit, because it was hard for me to focus. I was, always kind of thinking ahead, and I'm kind of thinking that it was, that kind of behavioral thing to where she and I just butted heads, didn't agree, and it was, again, she didn't take shit and neither did I, so that didn't really work too well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well.
So that was my 91, yeah.
What movies were you watching in 1991? What's your movie of the week here?
I'm getting a little bit predictable this week, but I thought, you know what, fuck it, why not? It's a Turtles-centric episode, or at least it will be when we finally start talking about them. Yes, so I thought I would bring up Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of Use. Yes, the inferior but still fun sequel to the admittedly very good, still to this day, original Turtle movie that came out the year prior.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed The Secret of the Use. It came out 1 year.
It's fun.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
Pretty much to the day almost, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have even been less than a year. Turtles, the first Turtles came out in 1990. I want to say about March or April of 90, and Ooze was like literally like March of the very next year.
Sure. Yeah, it's a fun movie. Not nearly as the quality of the first one, but not anywhere close to being as bad as the third one. So.
It really does kind of follow a pattern. Yeah, the second Ninja Turtle movie is far more comical. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. The plot is ludicrous. The whole plot basically is, in a nutshell, the Ninja Turtles stumble upon the same type of ooze that gave birth to their mutations when they themselves were young turtles. Right. The Shredder wants to get a hold of it. He does, and in the process he tries to make his own mutants to combat the turtles, Taka and Razor. They basically grow up to be retarded, and they are very ineffectual, so he decides to fight them, and Vanilla Ice somehow gets involved, and it's a mess.
People decided that the turtles weren't entertaining enough, nor were any characters that already existed in that universe. They got some Asian kid, pizza delivery guy, to be like
Kino, yeah,
the fifth turtle.
But the story that I understand about this is that I think he was either Donnie or Mikey's stunt double, the actual guy in the suit for the first movie. And I take nothing away from anybody who performed in the first movie, because again, to me, it's a solid movie all the way around. But I guess he stood out, and because of that, they liked him so much they gave him an actual on-screen role for the second movie. I don't know why, but there it is.
Yeah, wasn't he in Surf Ninjas or something like that?
He probably was. That was around the same time. I didn't see it, but I forget that. Yeah, served points for you for remembering that. So was it? There was Surf Ninjas, and then wasn't there something called Surf Nazis Must Die?
Well, that's a trauma movie, because that's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I imagine that'd be more fun. Yeah. Okay.
The kid looks like who's the bad guy in some of those Jean-Claude Van Damme movies? He's like the main bad guy in Bloodsport.
Oh, like in Bloodsport? Bolo Young, I think is his name.
The guy looks like a pre-steroid Bolo Young.
He does. Actually, I never thought of that, but you're entirely correct.
Yeah.
Kino. He's just like the Turtles' plucky little helper, and he's like a rather good martial artist. He seems like a nice enough kid, but why? He's just like the lame sidekick that no one asked for in the Ninja Turtle movie. Like you said, it's not enough that Casey Jones wasn't in it, so hey, there you go.
There's no reason to not have one of the best characters in the first movie that actually exists in the comic books and the cartoons and everything everyone loves about the Turtles. I mean, they didn't go Michael Bay rogue or anything, but they fucking.
Michael Bay rogue. I like that term.
Michael Bay's a piece of shit. Fucking ruins everything.
Yeah. The latest Ninja Turtle movie was really not that good, so we'll save that for.
E copy of it over, and I turned it down.
I downloaded it on the internet. Not that you should do this, but I whatever fucking did, because I'm not paying to watch that movie. And to be fair, and I've said this before, and I'm not going to go into it in depth, but I thought I would hate it. I can't say I did. I didn't actively hate it. There were a couple of things about it that I liked. The special effects were fine. The turtles themselves came across fairly. There were a couple good lines of dialogue. I laughed a couple times, but that's really about it. Everything else sucked. So whatever. The movie was just a miss. So. I mean, but that's just it. I was apathetic to it. That's not what you need with a Ninja Turtle fucking movie.
If I ever see that movie, it'll be because, like, I fell asleep with HBO and I happened to wake up while it started and the remote control's out of arm's reach. And I'm just, like, too lazy to get
Yeah. You'll be laying there, like looking almost straight up at the ceiling, kind of like barely averting your gaze down to the TV going, oh, God.
Right.
I can't do it. And you know what you'll see? You'll see a fucking slow-mo shot of Splinter, like, rebounding off of the wall, spinning in slow motion while he avoids a bunch of robot knives that super slow-mo robot Shredder is fucking throwing at him. It's a mess. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of Use was a dumb movie, but for its time, it was a fun movie. Yeah, it was. It was fun. It was a stupid fun movie.
It's a fun follow-up to the first one, which is, you know... The first Ninja Turtles movie was great.
It was. I love it. I to this day, without any fucking help me out here, not sarcasm, but facetiousness, and hyperbole. Yeah, either or. Without either of the above, I can say that I love pretty much everything about that movie. I really do.
Yeah, there's nothing bad about that movie, man.
I can really think of nothing myself personally. Did you see the second one in the theater?
Yes.
You did? Wow, okay.
The second one in the theater, Nick Babel, actually. Me and Nick Babel did not hang out or have sleepovers much as kids, but we had like a sleepover for both those movies. We went to the first one and the second one together.
That's awesome. I went with my good buddy, and of course you were friends with him growing up, Dustin Parker. I went to both the movies with him, yeah.
Which weird, the first one was at Market Square, and the second one was at Cinema 5.
Okay, for me, they were both at Market Square. That's interesting. They must have had it at both theaters.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You remember that properly? Because I would have went to
No, you know
Square.
what? No, I don't. There are reasons why I could suspect it to have been Cinema 5. I don't remember it at all as being Cinema 5. I would wager money saying that it's Market,
the same
but
movies didn't show at both theaters.
That's what I was going to say. Once you mentioned that, and I started thinking about it. It's like, wait a minute. They especially in Kenosha, they usually didn't. They were competing theaters. It doesn't seem like they would have done that. However, I have absolutely no memories of Cinema 5 connected to Turtles 2. Whereas I do remember Market Square.
Thinking it was weird that it was at the other theater this time, and I remember having, like, the first time I went, there was, like, a bazaar there where they had, like, you know, like, the Market Square is, like, it's not just a movie theater. It had all kinds of things. It had a restaurant inside, a dentist office,
comic book store,
a comic book store, all this other stuff inside. I'm hard.
It was an indoor mall.
I'm hard pressed to call it a mall because it never really felt like a mall. All those, like, none of those stores. It's not like the mall was just open from like 10 to 6. Like all those stores had their own varying hours and course of operation.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah. So I wouldn't ever call that place a mall. I guess it was almost just like an enclosed shopping area. I guess it's
right. An indoor retail
it didn't
section.
Operate like a traditional mall. But yeah, so like the second one, I remember waiting outside in line at the Cinema 5 where it would wrap around the building, and yeah, so.
You see, I mean, again, that's weird. I have absolutely none of those memories. I have memories of Gremlins 2, which was around the same time, maybe a year later at the most I'm putting it. That I remember as being Cinema 5, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe because I remember those experiences being very similar in nature, and I saw both of those movies with Justin, maybe I'm kind of, putting Ninja Turtles 2 in there, switching with, so you could be right. I could have seen it at Cinema 5. Maybe you very well did.
Given the opportunity to choose, I would have always chose Market Square because it was I preferred
closest to you, right?
And there was an arcade there. I mean, why would
Yeah, true, exactly. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Although, I mean, Cinema 5 was a nice theater. Just it didn't have everything Market Square had.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Ninja Turtles 2, good time. Yeah. What was your movie of 91?
Oh, 91. A lot of people, I quite enjoyed this movie. Some people think it's hokey and bad, which it kind of is in fairness. However, I grew up thinking it was great. I know you enjoy this movie quite a bit. But Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah. Very, I will say it was a good movie. It was. It was a summer blockbuster that satisfied me.
Hey, man, if anything, Alan Rickman fucking knocked it out of the park.
That he did.
But,
because it's dull, you fool. It will hurt more.
It'll hurt more, you twit.
But yeah, twit. He did call him a twit. That's right. Yeah, no,
it was pretty much. I don't know. A lot of people had. I think Kevin Costner was kind of his day and age is like Ben Affleck or whatever, where you just kind of got,
he kind of was.
Kind of got a little like not a bad actor by any means, always in decent movies, but like you just got overexposed to him, and
sure,
it was like everybody's wife wanted to fuck him, that kind of thing. So
he also dated Jennifer Lopez for a few minutes.
They called him Costifer.
I don't know why I love that, but I do. Costifer. Oh, that's going to be a name for one of my rats.
Costifer.
Costifer.
But
go on.
Anyways, yeah, a lot of people give him slack because Kevin Costner. I don't know. I think he's a fine actor.
I've never had a problem with him at all.
I don't think he's should have ever won an Academy Award.
Dancing with the Wolves.
But I think he's fine enough at what he does, and I usually enjoy the movies he's in. Even like his 19 different baseball movies.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. But anyways, if you've never seen or know the story of Robin Hood, they just kind of tell their own version of Robin Hood. Morgan Freeman's in it, plays this Muslim character who follows him around. I don't know. It's kind of a different telling of Robin Hood, different than
it's one of those kind of semi.
Tries to take itself more seriously. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. It was kind of like one of those '90s, experiment movies, to where it wasn't like silly, hip, goofery. It wasn't the same kind of like goofy Robin Hood movie as the old days. Right. It wasn't. Thank you, Errol Flynn. That's the name I was looking for. It wasn't Errol Flynn. Yet at the same time, it wasn't like Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight series. It was like trying to kind of settle both elements. It was like new, it was fresh, but it was still kind of rooted in the familiar Robin Hood lore.
Now, I saw that at my beloved drive-in theater for the first time. Was that with you?
So did I.
I think that was with you.
But did we watch it together? We might have.
Might have been, yeah.
Because I saw it there for sure.
I think your mom took us, actually, now that I recall.
Oh, we could have seen that together at the same time then. Wow. Because I know for a fact I did see that with my mom at the drive-in, yes.
Yep, and I saw that at the drive-in, too, and it was with a friend, and it must have been with you. It must have been.
I would have never thought of that until you brought that up. That's interesting. Can you remember what the other movie was?
I don't.
Oh, man. Now I'm going to be curious.
Huh.
Wow. We learn something new every day. Interesting.
Sure. Yeah, but then remember the toy line for this?
I remember it more for the rumor, which I guess was apparently proven, that they just cribbed a bunch of old Return of the Jedi toys. Like they used all the old molds and shit.
Oh, they absolutely did. The fucking Sherwood Forest playset is just the fucking Ewok village, but they added,
I think it literally is. Yeah. They had like a tree.
Yeah.
I don't even think you're exaggerating. I think that's actual truth.
I'm not exaggerating. It is legit 100% what it is.
I think the Friar Tuck toy was like a remodeled Gamorrean guard. I think that's actually legit. I swear to God, I think that's actually true. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking Kenner. I do remember the toys. Yeah. That movie was actually a really big blockbuster that year. That was like it made a lot of money. Very popular.
390 million worldwide.
How much?
390 million worldwide was the
which you could
grossing film of 1991.
Second highest. I wonder Terminator 2 would have been the first.
Probably, yeah.
I'm guessing, yeah. I would say you could probably pretty close to double that movie. Double that amount. If that movie had been released in today's dollars, I think it would have been about twice that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty big. And it was fun. I mean, again, it's literally, you don't really have to, go into much of the plot. It's Robin Hood. It's, dudes shooting arrows. It's badass. Christian Slater was in it when he was still cool.
Back from the war to find his dad murdered.
From the Crusades, right?
Yeah,
or was it? Okay.
Exactly. It's the Crusades. He was fighting Muslims, and the reason, the Muslim, Morgan Freeman's character is a Muslim, and they were locked up and for stealing bread or something.
Yeah.
And he escaped, and out of the kindness of his heart, as he was leaving, he helped Morgan Freeman escape. So basically, Morgan Freeman vowed, to protect him or owed him his life, a life debt kind of a deal. And,
yeah.
So he followed him around till he paid his debt, and so he referred to him as Christian the whole time because he's a Muslim fighting the Christians, and hey, Christian, But anyways,
which was confusing because the movie starred Christian Slater as well.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you're like, well, that's not Christian Slater, but because that's how we talk all the time.
Who, Morgan Freeman or Christian Slater?
Everybody.
They all did.
Exactly. But, yeah, so you were like, well, that's Robin Hood. Why is he calling him Christian? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, when you're a kid, you don't put two and two together as quickly. But,
we weren't up on the Crusades when we were like 13 years old.
Probably should have been.
Yeah, we should have been.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were probably, 12, 13, yeah.
Yeah, thereabouts, yeah. Right at 12 we would have been, yeah.
Sure. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I recommend it. It's like again, it's a fun telling of the Robin Hood story.
It is fun. Yeah, it's just a fun movie, and I don't know why anybody would dislike it.
Well, could they like to poke fun because he doesn't have an English accent and so.
Which I read. There's a reason for that. Supposedly he wanted to do so, but I guess like production got bumped up or something. He just simply did not have the time. He was brought in too quickly to actually learn to affect an English. I need to learn. I need to get an English accent.
He tried it. And they were all just like, dude, it's bad. Just.
He's like, no, it's not. My boat.
This fucking bodyguard shtick, whatever. Fuck it.
What I've heard is he tried. I don't know. More power to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good movie. It is. It's just a fun throwaway. It's a rollicking adventure. It really is.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It is.
It's a good story. It's hard to fuck up that story, man. The Errol Flynn one's good. That one's good. I liked the fucking Russell Crowe one. I
was gonna ask. Yeah.
It was Robin Hood. But this was the first one that actually took it more seriously than just prancing through the woods in their fucking tights.
First one that I'm aware of.
Sure.
Oh, and speaking of tights, I think about a year later they had the horrendous Mel Brooks movie Robin Hood Men in Tights, which I don't know about you, but oh my god, every girl I've ever met in my life that I wanted to date fucking adores that movie, and I can't bring myself to tell them that they're insane. That movie is garbage.
Mel Brooks has made some fucking genius movies. That is not one of them.
No.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Very bad. Oh, God, we need to move on. I'm winded.
That brings us to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in Time. Venture into the arcade. Dusted off our fucking coin purse. Fucking sidled on into the old arcade. Plunked some fucking money down on the counter. And played this game beginning to end.
Pizza power!
And I would say it's a good time. It's a fun game.
Yeah, I love
it. It's a sequel to, I'm trying to think of when the first one came out, 89 or 90. I want to say 89, I'm probably wrong, but whatever. It was the sequel to just the original flat-out, just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, which was, one of the earliest examples of a Konami, just like a giant four-person, I personally, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up, just pure action, pure tapping the attack button the whole time. And I don't know, did you play the original in the arcade? I'm sure you must have, right? The first one? Okay.
Nobody in their fucking right mind is a turtle fan as I am, as I stare at my 15 mint-in-the-package Ninja Turtle fingers over here in the corner would have ever walked by a fucking Ninja Turtle game without fucking popping some quarters into that.
That's what I would have figured, yeah. I can't remember ever playing it with you for some reason, but I assume that you must have played it, yeah.
I actually went to the arcade a couple years back. I actually defeated this game in the arcade a couple years ago. I was a kid. I remember being a kid, and I never had a whole lot of money in my pocket. And just the way I grew up, I never grew up with money.
Too much cocaine, man. You spent that shit like crazy.
It was easy to come by.
That's sadly true.
But I remember sitting there once watching in the arcade after I was out of my money, and as you did, you either wait for your friends to finish spending their money, or you just kind of like hang out waiting for your mom or whatever. You'd watch other people playing video games and seeing what they're up to. And there was this group of kids, like 4 kids, all pitching in quarters together, and they were all trying to beat this game. And I sat there and I watched them beat the Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time in the arcade. And maybe it was the original one, actually, because I felt like I was a little younger than 12 or 13. So it could have been the original one in the arcade. But anyways, fast forward, there was an arcade in Racine, I think I've probably talked about it in previous episodes, where you could spend like $20 in the arcade and they gave you $30 worth of tokens. And me and my friend Chris Beliaf went up there and played Turtles in Time to completion. So that was fun. It's hard to beat a game in the arcade.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, obviously it goes without saying, arcade games are designed to be difficult and fast. They want to, I mean, if you're spending a quarter every 30 seconds, that's the way the arcade manufacturers like it. So, I mean, it's not, I remember Gauntlet specifically when they released a bunch of Midway games on the Midway Arcade Treasures discs, which were both really good. I should say they made 3 of them, but the first 2 I own, and they're both really good.
Yeah, the one on GameCube was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I think they were, the first 2 I think were available on like all 3 of those systems at the time. So when you say the GameCube, I'm not sure which one can you remember which games were on it? Was it that was the second one. Yeah. It had Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, definitely. Yeah. The first one, however, was a little bit older. It skewed like Joust, Gauntlet, Paperboy, stuff like that. Yeah. I bring it up because, in a couple of like segments of that DVD or of that game, they have like, developer interviews or whatever. And I can't remember if it was the Gauntlet guys or the Smash TV guys, but one of them just like came right out and he said, yeah, we designed this game to take your money. We wanted you to die quickly. That was the whole purpose. You'd pump in more quarters and, you die like 15 seconds later. That's how arcades used to work. That's how you make your money. And, Turtles, both of the Turtles arcade games, were no exception to that.
Reminds me of that scene in Wayne's World where Noah's Arcade guy's on the Wayne's World thing. And he's like, it's a gelatinous cube.
Was that the Brian Murray or whoever, Bill Murray's brother character? Okay, I remember the character and I remember the gelatinous cube thing, but I don't remember the actual context of the scene. Oh. Is he not trying to sell him on a Wayne's World game? Like, what is he actually even talking to him about?
They were just talking about, arcade games because he owns Noah's Arcade. And I don't know. It was. Go watch Wayne's World. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. We'll bring that one up in the 1990 episode. Or 92, whatever the fuck it was.
Turtles in Time was created by Konami. 1991.
At that point in time, Konami could do no wrong. They were making hits out of the park left and right.
Well, and it was just like every other Konami game around that time, a side-scrolling beat-em-up kind of bad guy.
It was, yeah. They also did Simpsons. They did X-Men. Probably a couple more.
Yep. So, yeah. Basically, the story is the Turtles are sent back in time by Shredder, who has the ability to send people back in time.
There's actually even a little bit more of a complex arc to that story. It begins by Krang randomly stealing the Statue of Liberty.
Right, yeah.
And
exactly. Well, I was going to get to that.
But, it actually gets to that. Oh, I'm sorry, I gave away the big event. Go,
that's fine. Well,
go ahead. You tell the story.
No, that's basically the story.
I just didn't want you to forget that because that's like so that's like seriously, Krang just
you turn on the Super Krang.
Well, yeah, technically it was the giant robot Krang character that I never really cared for myself. Were you a big fan of Krang? I think most people were, but me.
I enjoyed Krang, yeah. He looked like a fucking wad of chewing gum.
He did.
Yeah, I liked his little voice. I don't know. It was. I enjoyed it. Just fine.
It's just ridiculous to me that the game actually legitimately we bought this. We never questioned this, that we're turning on this game or in the arcade, putting in our quarter, and literally the first thing we see is fucking April O'Neil. She's doing her news report or whatever, and Krang, like Super Krang, just swoops in and just like bear hugs the Statue of Liberty and just flies off with it. And then Shredder appears on the TV and he points and he's like, "Haha, fuck you." And it's like, what are you trying to accomplish exactly? What is the goal here?
And here's the thing. He's like, now Shredder, he had this plan, because he's like, well, fucking A, man, we're stealing this shit, and if the fucking Turtles get their fucking noses into this shit, I'm sending these fuckers back in time to fight other people I've sent back in time to learn how to ride velociraptors.
Which is true, again, we're not being facetious.
and I've just, he sent all these different foot soldiers back in time to ride velociraptors and various things, just in case the Turtles get that far, in case, all these different levels, it's like, all right, if the Turtles, maybe if they beat this, I'm going to send them here then they'll I don't know.
You'd think that if he was the criminal mastermind that he pretends to be, you'd think that he would have sent them to to be fair, I don't mean to make light of this, but we're talking legitimate, plot here. Why would he not have sent them to like Nazi Germany or somewhere where he knew the Turtles would probably have not escaped alive?
Right.
Yeah. How are the more sensitive of the two of us? Yes. Yeah, I mean, legitimately speaking, like literally, okay, I mean, as you just said it, as absurd as it is, he steals the fucking Statue of Liberty, gets the Turtles' attention, points and laughs, says, haha, what are you gonna do about it, bitches? They go to fight the Shredder, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, we'll talk about the levels, but basically on like level 2, like there's just like sort of like a sort of semi-cutscene where Shredder's head just kind of pops up out of nowhere and says, "I'm so sick of you turtles, I'm going to send you back in time now." And like, that's it.
Right.
In the most arbitrary, perfunctory...
I can see that. I can say, all right, fuck it. He has
I'm so fed up with you fucking things.
I'm just sending them back in time, fucking dust his hands off, fucking... No.
Why didn't he do that to begin with?
Planning ahead of them. Clearly, he's like, all right, fucking you foot soldiers over here, get in the fucking time vortex. You're going back. You guys are going back to Wild West.
Yeah, you're going to the pirate ship.
You guys are going to the pirate ship. You fuckers, learn to ride velociraptors. You guys are all going to stop these goddamn fucking turtles.
And imagine the foot soldiers like, fucking learn to fucking ride velociraptors. What are you fucking talking about, man? I ain't doing that. No, the fuck you're not.
I'm not telling them that I'm not doing that. You tell them. Fuck it. Well,
we're so fucked, man. We're so fucked.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
So there's your plot. Yeah, the turtles, like, they want to get the Statue of Liberty back, and Shredder sends them back in time. So there you go.
And then you go. So level 1, basically the moves. There's like 4 moves. 2 buttons and a joystick. Yeah, button number 1's the attack button. Button number 2's the jump button. Joystick for movement. You can jump plus attack for a special attack, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you hit the in the original Turtles arcade game, hitting the 2 buttons together would do kind of like a jumping like side swipe with your Turtles weapon. Whereas in this one, you do like sort of an awkward like vertical leaping kick. Oh, yeah. you when you say special move, like did the individual Turtles have their own special moves? Because if so, I never triggered any.
Leonardo does like a sword spin. Raphael does like a big kick. Donatello stands on his bow and does a kick, and then Michelangelo jumps forward with both of his nunchucks.
Somehow, I don't think I executed any of those. I don't know how I couldn't have. I don't remember seeing any of that. Oh, primarily Donnie, of course. That's my boy.
Yeah, exactly. I played with Raphael.
I figured you would, yeah. See, Howard and I, it's kind of interesting. We grew up, Howard always preferred Raph, and I always preferred Donnie, and it just so happened that those are the 2 turtles that the creators of the Turtle, franchise favor. Peter Laird, his guy is Donnie, and Kevin Eastman, his guy was always Raph. So I always thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, and oddly enough, they drew Michelangelo first.
They did, yeah. On kind of like a drunken night when they were trying to make fun of like that shitty like Cerebus comic or something.
Cerebus.
With the fucking the aardvark with
Sure.
It's whatever. That's character. Whatever. That's a whole side tangent. I never really got the appeal, but whatever.
Yeah, I've never really read much of them. He made some crossover into Spawn when I read Spawn back in the day, but that's about as much exposure as I've had to him.
I think he was a big supporter of the Spawn property, so in a way that's cool. As far as I know, that guy, the Cerebus or Cerberus or whatever the fuck it is, he as far as I know was like really big as far as the comic authors' rights and stuff like that, which is cool. But my understanding of the comic itself is that it started with basically just, okay, I'm an aardvark barbarian. Okay, cool enough, whatever. And it eventually devolved into like this deeply religious fucking like philosophical, moral, like fucking introspective, like he goes to space and contemplates his existence on Pluto, and then he comes down and finds God. Like, I'm not even making it up. That comic book is like fucked. And as far as I know, he like pissed off a bunch of people in the industry, and his last few issues didn't really sell, and it's like, whatever. I don't know. But again, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Turtles, because the Turtles rock.
Right.
Yeah.
So, stage 1, the Big Apple. New York City.
Yeah, what do you think of that stage?
I didn't mind it. I like that there's actual, Ninja Turtle. Well, there's foot soldiers. I never got the whole... There's different colored foot soldiers. So basically you can kind of know, well, this foot soldier, since he's white or since he's blue or since he's yellow or since he's whatever color, they're going to do this whatever. Like,
yeah, they telegraph their attack with their outfit.
Has ninja stars. The blue one has, what do they have, metal hooks?
Something like that, yeah, I think so.
White ones had,
I think he's got, throwing knives or something, yeah.
I just fucking, I can figure out what they're doing to me. Just make them all look like the fucking foot soldiers. Just have them all be fucking purple.
You see, now, I really like that. One of the things I was going to say in favor of the game is how just brilliantly, beautifully colorful it is. So for me, that's actually a real big plus.
To me, I feel like I always want you to stick with the script here. And
sure.
The foot soldiers are purple. At least in the cartoon.
In the cartoon, right.
Which is what they were, modeling the game after.
The game is clearly based on the cartoon, yes.
So,
yeah.
Just make the fucking foot soldiers purple.
Well, and it's a fair argument. What I think is interesting is the fact that really at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. I mean, this is a game where you're basically, if you're not just wailing away on the attack button and the occasional combination of attack plus jump, you're like walking over like to the side to avoid getting hit. So really, like, you're not caring too much what the enemies do because you're just trying to quickly kill them all regardless and move on.
Super Krang makes an appearance in this level. He comes creeping up with big laser eyes. All you see is his head, and he kind of shoots.
That was actually pretty cool. Yeah, he shows up in the background. Yeah.
Now here's what I don't get. He's obviously huge enough to be like standing next to a skyscraper.
Yeah, you're on top of a skyscraper, yeah.
And he's in this game again, and this is the only fucking time in the whole game he's that fucking big. The rest of the time he's just like average size Super Krang.
You know, it's so stupid video game logic. Yeah, I was going to say, I never even thought to question that, but that's absolutely right. Yeah, you fight him again later, jumping ahead, you fight him again later, and he's like 1.5 times your size, maybe?
Right,
not 15 stories, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The first stage, there's something, you know, when I remember the original Ninja Turtles arcade game, and, you know, sometimes I am going to be unfavorably comparing this one to that one because I grew up with it. I loved it. I liked that game was a little bit more rooted in, like back alleys, the streets of New York, stuff like that. So while the first stage of Turtles in Time does take place in New York, I think it's called like Big Apple 3 a.m., something like that. It seemed to me just kind of like a generic level. You're like, there's nothing like really. Like, aside from, like, the occasional wrecking ball things that would come down on top of your head, which was cool, there wasn't really a lot to the level that stood out to me, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just a basic beat-em-up level. Lots of football.
I mean, fair enough.
Plenty of people to beat up, which is great, actually.
Yeah, a lot of enemies in this game. A lot of chaos going on.
Trying to get, extract quarters out of your pocket. So.
But even in the first one, the first Ninja Turtle game, I don't remember there ever really being any more than like 4 to 5 enemies on screen at one time. But in this one, there were always like 12 to 15. I mean, you were just surrounded constantly.
Now, did you find yourself, when you had to pause, maybe take a couple notes or just relax for a second, Splinter just jumps up?
I was going to ask.
He's like, hurry the fuck up! Hurry the fuck! Go!
What did I teach you, motherfuckers?
Fucking Splinter just comes over and says, hurry up, like over and over and over and over again.
And he gets bigger each time. His sprite gets huger and huger as it gets closer to the screen.
Like shit just starts hitting you.
What it is, our arcade games typically would have like a fail-safe built in. I shouldn't say built in, it's not like a super technical thing. The game would include like some kind of feature like that where if your characters weren't moving, if you decided just to sit there in the arcade and not do anything, for reasons of both burn-in and obviously making sure that they continue to make a profit, get you off the game if you're not going to play, they would make sure that something would happen. You'd lose a life, you'd die or whatever if you just sat there idling. Yeah, so you're totally right. He doesn't even move. They take a static image, pixel art, image of Splinter, who has a little word balloon that says "hurry," and they just have him like zip across the bottom of the screen, just from left to right, just zoop, and it's like, oh, cool, Splinter just, he ran by. He says, "Come on, let's continue moving." And
take a few of these fucking foot.
He's busy. He's running a marathon. He has no time for you. This is your true test. Well, he is old. Yeah, you cut him some slack. He's an old rat. Rats typically don't live any more than like 3 years, and he's like 50 something. So yeah, he's doing all right. He'll scroll past the screen and he'll continue to do it more and more frequently. He does it like probably 10 times. He'll scroll past, hurry, and if you wait, he'll do it again, hurry, and again his sprite will get bigger and bigger and bigger to where the final one you see, he's literally like 2/3 the size of his screen. He's all super huge and pixelated and right up in your face. He'll flash across the screen, fucking hurry, and if you don't, they will literally drop death bombs on you and kill your characters.
Yeah.
And that's just fucking hilarious to me because I like to think that that's Splinter just kicking your ass, just being so fed up with you that he's just killing you for your lack of discipline. Yeah, it's funny that you found that out. I actually purposely waited to see what would happen. Did you? Did you do the same?
I was writing some notes.
Oh, you literally just kind of put the controller down and let it go.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Right.
Yeah, you literally die. They take your lives. Yep. So, it's a good time.
Which, fucking
The boss of the first level is Baxter Stockman in fly form.
Which is awesome, because I love Baxter Stockman.
Yeah, who doesn't? He's always one of the best characters, yeah.
So it was fun. We got to fight an actual, real character from the real fucking show. Didn't make some weird, nonsensical character up for this level. And
I can't say the same. Once or twice in the game they do wind up doing that, right. But we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, for the most part, they hewed close to the cartoon. They had actual recognizable characters.
So Baxter, was he difficult for you to beat? He had a gun. Just shooting you with a gun, which is...
pretty direct.
He seems like a scientist. He did have that weird, like, hand grabby.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. At first it starts with, like, an actual, like, machine gun type of thing. He's a typical boss, kind of floating around in the sky. You have to, like, do, aerial tactics and jump kicks or whatever to hit him. And eventually he'll stop just shooting at you, and he'll whip out, like, a science, like, as you said, like, sort of like a science gun of some kind that has, like, an elastic hand, like one of those sticky hands that you get out of, like, those quarter machines, and he whips that at you and tries to catch you out of the air, and that's his main offense, his main attack.
Yeah, but so, not too bad. You just kind of jump at him and just...
Yeah, eventually he...
It's a beat 'em up. Let's face it, there's different moves, but for the most part, you're just kind of jumping and smacking the fucking attack button at everything.
That's most of what you're doing in the game, yeah. But that's what made it good. And one of the things that I really like about this game that I miss, Konami was really good about this. I don't know if any other designers ever did this. If they did, I'm not aware of it. Konami always had in these beat 'em up games a system whereby when you'd hit the boss enough times, he'd start to flicker and flash. Yeah.
Now that was one of my complaints. So I do like that he flickers and flashes. However, I like my boss. If I have a fucking power bar, I like him to have a power bar.
But that's it. That's just it, though. It's kind of like a different kind of power bar.
It is.
Bar.
It is, but I still don't know where I'm at. I mean, I guess.
You have kind of a vague idea. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah. The faster he flickers, the more intensely. See, to me, that's so satisfying though, because at first he doesn't flicker at all. You're hitting him. You're not sure if you're doing any damage to the sprite, and then finally the sprite will slowly, like a heartbeat, start to flicker. And the more damage you inflict from that point, the more intensely he'll flicker to the point to where at the end he's almost like solidly like flicker colored. He'll like turn red, and he's only a couple of hits away. And to me, that's always been a lot of fun. I've always dug that.
Sure.
But you're right. Yeah, life bars are nice.
So not hard to beat.
No, I kind of cornered him. I guess I got lucky and just wailed on him and he died.
Yeah. So exactly. He loses the machine, gets a sticky hand, and then he's in the air. You wait for a moment, and then he fires his gun, and then he moves. And you just kind of move and attack. So
pretty straightforward first level type of boss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That brings you to stage 2.
Was it the sewer? Was stage 2 the sewer, or is that the next one?
Stage 2 is the alley, I believe.
Oh, it is. You're right. You fight Metalhead at the end of that. That's right. Yeah, yep. Let's talk about the alley. The alley, see, you're getting a little bit more close to what I liked about the first Turtle arcade game, in that you're fighting in, New York, you're in the city streets. It's kind of grounded in, like, cartoon Turtle reality. Mm-hmm. But again, it was kind of straightforward. That level did start introducing like little hazards, like traffic cones and shit that you could hit, which was cool. But they didn't have a whole lot of that. There wasn't a whole lot of like level prop going on. Yeah, I missed that.
Well, then the pizza. That is the one thing too about this game. You got to remember. There is level props. There's lots of level props. You can hit like a fire hydrant and it shoots water out the side. And
I only said that's true, but I didn't see a whole lot of that going on. It seemed like it was only once or twice per level. It could have been that way in the first game too, and maybe I'm just remembering more.
Yeah, and there's lots of different level props. I don't know. There's different ones. Sometimes you'll miss them if you don't go over to it and see if it does something. So
there were like little explodey boxes.
Yeah, not everything in the game is static, so you can go over to it, and some of it's very functional. A lot of it is actually. So.
See, my memory is that there wasn't a whole lot, but I guess, it's subjective. I guess what I'm saying is I would have preferred more, I suppose.
Then what about there's power-ups. There's different pizza boxes you can get. There's a pizza box that gives you some life, and then there's a pizza box that gives you like a power spinny move.
Yeah.
Which I found maybe one time in the entire game I actually got that power-up when there was lots of enemies on the screen.
Right.
Otherwise, I've always pretty much taken out like 1 or 2 guys with it after I've battled like 16 different people.
It is funny that it seems like more strategically placed pieces in this. Like when I was playing through the game, like almost every time I grabbed a pizza was when like they clearly planted it there, knowing that I would damn well not need it.
Right.
Like there's a pizza. Yeah, not just that, but like in the very first level, there's a pizza like 2/3 of the way through the first fucking level of the game, and it's like I've been hit once. What do I need this shit for?
Well, I think that's kind of
an introductory sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You figure out what it does so that you know to make sure you go and grab them when you are running low.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. It could be.
Then you get through the game, beat them up. Not a whole lot. You're in an alley. You fight your way to the end of the alley, and you find Metalhead, which is awesome. Another boss that's from the fucking cartoon.
Kind of a semi-obscure one too. I don't remember a lot of people ever talking about Metalhead growing up. I had his figure, but he was not like a common one. I guess
I liked his figure, and I liked him.
I did too.
And actually, Metalhead's in the new cartoon too, and he's actually different. And I don't know. I don't recall. I guess maybe he's not different. In the new cartoon, because I just watched an episode with Metalhead, Donatello made him.
I'm probably going to be wrong, but I think that's how it was in the first one.
Was it? Okay.
I think.
I didn't remember that, but
I would not put money on my guess. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's what seems familiar to me. That's where I thought you were going to go.
Gotcha.
Well, tell me about the new cartoon for a minute. Let's take a second. Is it any good? I heard that's all right.
I think it's fucking awesome, honestly.
Really good. Oh, yeah. That's right. You said you were watching it with your kids. That's right.
Yeah, exactly, man. My kid watches like the shittiest shows because he has no taste in anything whatsoever.
Well, he's your kid,
right? But no, he's fucking 2, and he watches appropriate shows for a 2-year-old. I just happen to not stand them. He watches like Team Umizoomi and fucking Bubble Guppies and the same episode over and over and over and over again. So
you mean like you DVR him and he just insists on watching the same one, or they play the same? Okay.
He could care less. It could be the same episode a million times, and he'll be like, "The dog's brown," and I'm like, "That's right, the dog is brown."
He was brown 5 minutes ago, kid.
But the other day, I was trying to get him to watch Ninja Turtles, and he likes it, but not as much as those other shows. So he always asks for the other shows. But the other day, he asked for Ninja Turtles, and I was stoked. I sat and watched Ninja Turtles for a couple hours, and it was a good time. I enjoy that show. I think the new ones. I was, being a fan of the original ones, I was a little caught off guard with the way it looked, and I didn't really know if I dug it. And quite honestly, I think they do a really good job with the new reboot of that show.
Okay, that's good to hear. I mean, because they've restarted the Turtle property, I want to say at least probably 3 or 4 times now. So to hear one that's actually doing well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Right. Does he doesn't happen to, your son hasn't, well, now that I think about it, did your other son also watch the show? Is he not into it at all?
Well, he'll be 1 on the 30th of this month, so he'll watch what's on TV, I don't think he's super I don't think he's into anything yet, he'll watch stuff, but he's not he's just happy doing whatever. He'll watch.
He doesn't really demonstrate like a favoritism to any one show or the other.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick before we keep going, what kind of shows would you prefer? You said that he watches a lot of crap that you hate because he's got bad taste.
Oh, I was just teasing.
Well, I'm sure that's true, though. I mean, I can't imagine it's fun to watch some of those things that, kids watch these days.
I'm glad he watches the shows he watches because he learns shit from them. But Boss at the end of the episode, Metalhead.
He was kind of tricky, I thought, actually.
Yep.
You had some difficulty with it?
You green slime ball.
Is that what he says? I remember the slime ball, but I can't remember the rest of it. Okay. Some of the voice.
I thought he was actually a little tricky.
Yeah, I did too. It was difficult getting close to him. He had telescoping arms and shit, which was neat.
Yeah, he doesn't allow you to attack him very often before he just double fists you away.
He really does. He's one of those bosses where every time you jump and try to get close to him, he like donkey punches you on the way out. So it's tough.
And if you hit him more than twice in a row, he'll kick you back. And it's
Yep, I noticed that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Good tricky. I lost, I'm sure, $1 worth of quarters on him, relatively speaking. Yeah.
It's just you learn that pattern. You hit him twice and then back off, and then come in and hit him twice and back off, kind of a deal. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, here's the thing about this game is that when you're rating difficulty, it's not really difficult. This game's only. Would this game be difficult to play on 1 quarter? Well, fuck yeah.
Well, of course it'd be possible.
When you got a pocket full of quarters, I mean, whatever. You just keep relentlessly going through the game, and it's not hard to beat at all, really.
That's the thing. Difficulty is, it's almost an improper context to describe a game like this, because there's not really a challenge so much to overcome. There's nothing really to figure out so much, except for
being a fucking Ninja Turtle.
Well, which is always a good time. I mean, the new Ninja Turtle game, coming out of the shadows or something. Yeah. I don't remember the full name of the game because I always call it coming out of the closet. It's just fun. The turtles are coming out of the closet. But people hate that game. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's not like a really amazing game or anything, but the turtle combat is fun. It's just fun to fucking be a Ninja Turtle and just fuck guys up. That's a good time.
Now, I heard a rumor back in the day, and it turned out not to be true, and it turned out to be that game you just mentioned. But I got real excited a few years ago. It was right after Arkham Asylum. And someone had spread a rumor that the same team that did the Arkham Asylum game was doing the new Ninja Turtles game. And they even came out, they heard the rumor and came out and said, wow, that would be really cool to do, and we'd love to do that game. Right now we're working on Arkham City and blah, 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 and that's not what we're doing. So I would have been stoked if that crew put together a kick-ass fucking Ninja Turtle game.
So now I've actually still to this day never played any of the Arkham games. I played like the first one for maybe 5 minutes. It was good, but I didn't get into it.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've only played the first one because I don't know if I've mentioned it on this show before, but I work a lot. I have 2 kids and a wife, and not a whole lot of time to play a lot of video games. I have a bunch of modern gaming systems and whatnot, and for some dumb reason, instead of using my time to play those, I decided to do this podcast and play old games I already played lots of times. So there you have it.
yeah, it's like, dude, you could play the new Arkham game. Well, I'm playing Turtles in Time from 26 years ago.
Exactly. Why the fuck are you playing that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as you said, it's fun to be a turtle. It's just, I don't know how kids would feel about it today. Probably the younger kids, I would think, would feel the same. But you and I, we were the exact right age. Like when Turtles hit in, I'd say about 1988 was when they really got big. I think that's when the cartoon started. We were like 9 going on 10. That was like the perfect time for the cartoon, for the figures, for the movies.
6, actually.
I wouldn't say you might be right. My guess would be 87 earliest. I would not say 86. That's like too young.
Started in 86. I just don't think we caught on to it for a couple of years.
Oh, the Turtles themselves existed before that, but the cartoon itself, I do not think that started until about 88.
Well,
that's my guess.
I'm going to take a peek on that one because I think I'm right about that.
You owe me 11 cents if I'm right.
11 cents. Let's see. 1987.
Okay, split the difference.
All right, let's see.
I still would have said 88, so
Let's see. Yep, 1987 in syndication as a 5-part miniseries, and then the show began its official run October 1st, 1988.
Okay, all right. So technically I was kind of correct, but either way it was definitely not as early as 86. That to me felt way too early. Because 86 was like Muscle Men and He-Man was still kind of in 1986.
Right.
Yeah, very, very close though. I mean, those years, close enough. Those years are pretty close together.
Sure.
Obviously. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we were, either way, we were right at the ripe age for the Turtles to hit. And when they did, it was just like, I mean, this was just it was a cultural landmark. I mean, this wasn't just like the newest thing, although it was also that. This was like, it consumed us. It was like, I mean, we had Turtle everything, Turtle food, fucking Turtle movies, Turtle comics, Turtle cartoons, tons of action figures. I mean, it consumed us.
Yeah, it did. And it was great. I would love every fucking minute of it. It was fucking fantastic. I don't know. It was one of the better fucking cartoons. And it still holds up to this day, in my opinion.
I haven't seen it in a long time. Did you ever, was it you or my cousin who was looking into getting the Turtle Van box set? That was you.
Yeah, I think it's just discontinued. I don't know if it's, I've not acquired it yet.
Okay.
I got my eye out for it, but. They made a cool, they make those cool DVD box sets, and sometimes they'll make a complete series. Though they made one that was the complete fucking run of all of the fucking episodes of the original Ninja Turtles cartoon, and it came in like the fucking party wagon was the big fucking case for all the CDs, and it's glorious, and I want to own it.
Wasn't it even at the time like $300?
Yeah, it was like $100, I think.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Exactly. Yeah, fuck yeah, man. I'll drop $100 on that tonight.
Yeah, it's like a 6 or 7 series show, or season show, so yeah.
For sure. But, alright. So Metalhead, you beat them, and all of a sudden, I like when games do this from time to time and they do it well, and they switch it up with Stage 3 being the sewer surfing level.
I'm not a fan of the sewer levels because like every game ever always insists on having one. It's kind of old, it's done, but whatever. But you're right. On this one, you're actually surfing. It's like what's the word for it? You're on not on rails. You're I don't know. Fucking you describe it. I interrupted you anyway. You go ahead. You know what I'm talking about.
You're on surfboards going through the fucking water and the fucking
Okay, maybe I should have described it.
Well, you're in the sewer and you're on surfboards and
you're like zooming along. You don't like you're in motion. You're right. Yeah, you're on.
But at the same time, there's no difference to the game because you're on the surfboard and the surfboard moves along with you, so you can still jump forward. You can still do all the same attacks. There's no like actual tactics. The only thing is like the background it kind of zooms by and you feel like you're going fast.
Actually, for the most part, you are correct. However, you're probably forgetting they do have like little landmine things that sweep in because you're in motion. Yeah.
That is true. You got to watch out for those things.
You'll stub your toe on them.
That is true. You will stub your toe. Ow!
They play like a little animation of your turtle. Like it's a very charming animation. He opens his mouth wide, like yelping. His eyes bug out, and he jumps up and down on the surfboard, like holding his toe, and literally says like, "Ow, my fucking toe," or something like.
Apparently, in the sewer's just riddled with like xenomorphs.
Yes. I think what it is, in the sewer for no reason. I am so far behind on my turtle lore. It's funny because I did grow up with them, obviously, and I love them, but it's been years and years and years and years, so I'm out of touch. I was gonna say, okay, that's what I thought they were. Okay, they were like anchovy monsters from like episode 3 or something.
Exactly,
yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
But why are they?
But they're totally xenomorphs.
Why do they look exactly like an alien? Only yellow.
Yeah, except yellow. Yeah, which like pizza toppings aren't, unless you're getting like fucking pineapple, which they didn't in that episode, so whatever. Sure. Yeah, so you have multicolored foot soldiers coming at you in the sewer, while red landmines come flying at you from the right, and hordes of xenomorphs, yellow xenomorphs, come at you from the water.
Yeah, exactly. And then
it's a good time.
It's just sitting there in the water throughout the thing, and then that's basically about, whatever, 6 to 12 fucking alien xenomorphs as the boss.
Oh, at least. Yeah. Oh, that was the boss? Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was me, because I went through mostly avoiding even attacking those, so at the end, when a bunch of them ganged up on me, I just assumed that was just like me having to eventually deal with them after they all started piling up. No, you could be right, though. That's the boss. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, because after that, you don't fight any other entity from the show. That's when Shredder's head materializes out of thin air and says, I'm going to use my newfound powers to send you back in time.
Yeah. Yep, yeah, so there you go. That's when you get sent back in time for the first time. So stage 4 is the first time you get fucking sent back to time. And that's where they send you back to the prehistoric Turtlesaurus era of fucking 25,000 BC.
Is that actually what the level's called?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, who fucking knows? I think it's like literally like, totally tubular, like Triassic or some bullshit like that.
It's probably
some nonsense.
So.
Yeah, it was a fun level. I enjoyed it.
What enemies did obviously he must have sent back, because it's not like there was foot soldiers and rock soldiers back then, so he sent them ahead of time.
Okay, Mr. Science, that's a lot of assumption on your part.
Ahead of foot soldiers on dinosaurs.
We don't know that wasn't true.
I suppose that wasn't there.
Yeah, foot soldiers riding dinosaurs that when you attack them, they run away with like googly distress eyes.
Yeah. And this was the first boss. Again, you're in prehistoric land and you fight your way through. We don't really have to talk a whole lot about what goes on in the levels.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's just to give you the setting. You're in prehistoric land and there's dinosaurs. So, and not just dinosaurs you really fight, just dinosaurs that foot soldiers ride.
They breathe fire at you, to be fair.
Sure. Okay. And then. The cement monster thing, was that in a Ninja Turtles episode ever?
He was the one I was referencing a few minutes ago when I said they just kind of made something up for this game. But now that you mention it, that could have been a monster from the show. And maybe I just don't remember it. Yeah, I don't remember it either. So it's like a mud monster or something, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, he was quite simple. I just kind of I mean, he was able to take a lot of abuse without doing too much back, so I didn't have any real trouble with him.
Yeah. Exactly.
The levels. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What does he do? He'll throw like a handful of cement at you.
Oh yeah, he kind of. I don't even remember what your turtle says. He'll like.
Yeah, he'll hit you with an open palm, and then you hit him a few times and back off, and that's kind of what you do.
But he'll encase you, as you said, he'll encase you in some kind of like glob of whatever it is, mud or cement or whatever, and you sit there and kind of wiggle helplessly for a few seconds before breaking free. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I like the level a lot. I thought it was a very pretty level, very nice like background graphics and shit like that. Yeah, it was fun to be in. I thought it was a good introduction to the Turtles in Time theme.
I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous that foot soldiers would ride velociraptors, but okay.
Now, do you think that Shredder and Krang like taught them to, or they just kind of like they just had the gusto to say, "Hey, I'm mounting that fucking thing"?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They were just like, fuck. How long were they there? They're waiting.
Just what I was gonna say, just waiting. Yeah.
Waiting in case. Because like, what if the other foot soldiers like took care of them, and then all of a sudden like, the turtles don't even show up? They're just stuck.
As many foot soldiers as Shredder has, I think he just figures that they're disposable, and he just does not care. They don't have a very good union representative, I think.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Then they send you back through time to the what is it? The fucking.
I think the pirate. Well, first of all, before we even, why do you even go back in time anyway? Why doesn't he just keep you there? Like, why does he bother to send you back to a different time period instead of just letting you like die in the Jurassic period?
I don't. Maybe he wanted to see like if there was any bugs needed to be worked out of his time machine.
Could have been.
He's just. I don't know.
We'll go with that.
Because then it's like he had to send like like a lot of foot soldiers. I mean,
he covered a bunch of different eras just in case.
Right. Yeah.
Very proactive. Very forward thinker.
Weird.
And this fucking game, the story to this fucking game. So yeah, the next level is the pirate ship. Yes, which I really
in the deck of the pirate ship, and yeah.
I thought it was fun. The pirate ship had like a really nice kind of teal, exterior. You could kind of see it on the edges of the outside of the ship, and you were constantly walking on planks that hit you in the face, and your turtle would say, "Ow, my nose."
Yep, there was I think this one had like a fire arrow shooting archers or whatever, foot soldiers.
Oh, it did. That's right. And I think I guess it was the previous level where they introduced I can't remember what the names of those characters are, like the rock soldiers or whatever. You remember those things?
Yeah. No,
General Trag or whatever.
They were the previous one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they began in the Jurassic level or whatever it was.
Warriors. Yeah, I forget the actual name of the Stone Warriors, but they're pretty much throughout the rest of the game now.
Yeah. They're on there just pretty much almost as frequently as the foot soldiers themselves are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shoot like rockets at you or something, I guess. I don't know.
But then, at the end of this episode, they bring the fucking Toka and Reza from Ninja Turtles 2.
From Ninja Turtles 2, yeah, The Secret of the Ooze. That was, I didn't expect that.
They look just like them.
Yeah, they did a good job. Yeah, for sprites, they were actually very accurate. Yeah, you knew immediately who they were.
I like how they turned into a dog and a little turtle, too, and you defeated
them. That's right. When you beat them, they turn into, just like the movie, they turn into like harmless little, like adorable critters.
And I like that you have to beat them individually. Like, you beat the one, and the other one, you had to go and, it wasn't like you just beat them and all of a sudden they both fell over and died. You had to, like, individually.
So. I think in the original Ninja Turtle arcade game, there were, I can't immediately think of any examples. I think maybe one of the Stone Warriors or whatever. I think there were like one or two fights to where you had to fight more than one character back in that game as well, and it was the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, because when you're playing this with multiple people, I would imagine that with 4 turtles, it would get, fun and chaotic fighting 2 different bosses at once. But when you're just one character, and by the way, did you play Raph the whole time? Because it sounds like you tried all the different turtles at one point or another.
Yeah, I tried them all just to see if there's any differences. But Raph's the only one I played through the whole game.
Okay, yeah. All right. But yeah, it was a good time. They were, I didn't find them particularly difficult to beat. Every now and then they would run into each other. They'd go to like attack you at the same time. They'd collide. That was kind of a neat little moment.
Now, did you have those action figures growing up?
I wanted them. No, I still somewhere down here in this like now flooded basement, I have an old Christmas list that has, it has 4 entries, like 3 or 4 entries from the fall of 1991. They were in this order: the Super Nintendo, SimCity, Final Fantasy II, Super Shredder and I guess it would have been Razor, the turtle of the two creatures from I didn't care too much for the husky creature, the wolf dog or whatever. I like the turtle. And the last thing on my list was a talking Steve Urkel doll. I don't know. Because he talked and he was Steve Urkel. I thought it was the funniest. No, that's the funny thing. Looking back, I was aware of it. The gimmick. I wouldn't have played with it. I wasn't gonna hold it and dress it up or nothing like that. But I thought it was such a funny thing. It was look at this fucking. You pull a string and he says his stupid catchphrase. I came to my senses and that momentary flirtation with that ridiculous show went away very quickly, and I went back to my cool toys like the Ninja Turtles and shit. But yeah, for a minute there, that was my Christmas list.
Super Shredder was awesome.
Yeah.
In the movie, is portrayed underneath all the garb by Kevin Nash, the pro wrestler.
Now, I don't recall. Did you not tell me that somebody, I think, told me that there was a story of their buddy going and having him sign? That was you? Wow.
Ben, who's met every wrestler ever. He has pictures with every. You go on his Facebook, he's got pictures. Not just wrestlers either, celebrities. He's met everybody. It's just his thing. He likes to go.
Hey, is he the one who's got all the old ticket stubs and all that too?
Yeah, he's got all kinds of shit like that.
Okay, the one who's got the autographed championship belts and so forth.
Yeah, he's got one. Okay. He's got a great picture of Rick Rude just glaring at him because when he was a kid, he yelled, "Hey, Rick!"
At the airport or some shit, right?
Yep. And then I guess right immediately after that picture, Rick Rude came over to him and said something like, "Next time you want to take a picture, ask," or something like that.
Not everybody wants to look or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. But anyways, he went and met to a meet and greet with Kevin Nash, and he got his Super Shredder action figure in the package, autographed by Kevin Nash. So.
And that's just fabulous because there's probably 10 of those in the world.
I imagine that's the only one. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah.
Who thinks of that? What Ninja Turtle fan actually goes and thinks, I'm going to meet Kevin Nash and bring hey, who even has a Super Shredder figure? I wanted one. I never got one.
People don't even know that's Kevin Nash who plays fucking.
A lot of people still don't. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people are still surprised about that, which surprises me. That's been kind of common knowledge for a decade now. Well, technically, since his name was in the credits from 1991, but most of us didn't know who he was back then. Exactly. Yeah. Super Shredder was great. I wanted his figure, and I just whatever. I got the Super Nintendo and awesome games instead, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, never had that figure. Bummer.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, what's the next level after the pirate ship now? Where do we starting to kind of blend at this point for me?
Well, we're on the pirate ship level. And the end of the pirate ship level is Leatherhead's the boss.
Oh no! The end of the pirate ship level is a Tuck and Razor.
Oh, you're right. I'm thinking of the end of the
very next level, I guess.
Yeah, which is
the Wild West is next, isn't it?
Exactly, Wild West.
So,
well, I guess fast forward to the end of the Wild West because there's not a whole lot of different shit going on in this besides you're on a train.
That was my least favorite level. I like the fact that you could see a forest go back in the background or whatever, and at one point you went through a cave. That was pretty neat. But for the most part, yeah, you're just on a train, stereotypical Wild West level.
And you fight Leatherhead, which I didn't think it was a fitting enemy because I felt like it should have been on the bayou somewhere. He didn't really sound like Cajun like he would have.
No.
Whatever.
He was tricky. He kept on stabbing me straight in the eye with a little dagger.
That was it was a Bowie knife. Yeah.
That was tricky.
Yeah.
Up until I fought him, that level actually reminded me a lot of Sunset Riders. Do you remember that game?
No.
You don't? Wow, it was another typical Konami 4-player, all crowded around the monitor arcade machine, and it was just a straight up Wild West game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was at the Rocky Rococo's in Kenosha when you and I went and fucked around and played arcade games all day and all that. Yeah.
I loved Rocky Rococo's in Kenosha.
I still love Rocky Rococo's. Is there one in Kenosha still?
There is one in Kenosha.
It's out by it's on Green Bay, isn't it?
Right.
Oh man.
Yeah, as a kid I loved it. I'm not a huge. I don't dislike.
They're breadsticks. Oh God, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Yeah,
go on.
My thing is just we live in a town. Well, Mike used to. It's an Italian town. You can't fucking throw a Ruffalo without hitting a Tenuta. And we've just got an abundance of really good locally owned people.
Legitimate, yes, Italian, straight up Italian food.
It's really hard for me to want to eat at a chain. So
that's a perfectly valid argument. I mean, when you think about it, there literally are, without exaggeration, probably at least a few dozen Italian restaurants in that town.
Yeah, and they're all pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as most Italian food is.
For some reasons, but you can argue over who has the best pizza for what, or this or that, But they're all pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of pizza, Ninja Turtles and pizza. A quick break. You said that Carl's is no longer your favorite. Carl's to me is the best pizza in Kenosha. Billy Carl's Pizza. You said Ruffalo's, right? Or something with an R.
I could honestly. There's things. The thing is, there's just different places.
Oh right, the sauces and the right.
If I could go to like 7 different fucking pizza places in town and Frankenstein the perfect pizza. One place I think has the best pepperoni. Another place I think has the best sausage. One place has the best sauce. Another place has the best crust, so it's kind of hard, it's kind of hard to say one's absolutely better than the other one. So
sure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Villa Carlo's is my favorite pizza in Kenosha, and Luigi's is, without exception, my favorite spaghetti, my favorite pasta. Yeah, and I say this because I love it, and I want them to give me free food. I want them to hear this podcast, which I know they will, because I'm sure they're listening to this right now, and that'd be great. All right, anyway.
All right. Next level, the neon light, like the future. I think it's like he sends him to the future finally.
Is it really already? You go to the future, like I know there's like a spaceship level or something to that effect, like it's some kind of space. That's already it, huh?
7, yeah, level 7 is the future, I believe.
Okay, if that's the one, then that was actually my favorite level.
Okay, yeah.
It felt the most like the old original.
Level, it's kind of like the sewer level.
Oh, okay. See, no, I am thinking of the spaceship level, but I know now exactly what you're describing. Yes, okay. You're talking about the other, like the I don't know what word to use, like the motorized, the scrolling, the scrolling level, right. the auto scroll. Yeah, you're on like hoverboards or whatever. That actually, I didn't like that level.
Well, it's the same level, basically, but you're on hoverboards.
Different background, yeah.
Shredder was like, "You fuckers go to the future, and you take these hoverboards." And then here's one with the turtle shell. He'll fucking ride the turtle shell one. If he gets there, and then you guys fucking kill him.
Yeah, go do that.
That's so better.
Fucking like John C. Reilly in fucking Boogie Nights. Fucking, come on, Scotty. You fucking whatever. I don't know. Fucking, we're gonna make this record, man. We're gonna sing our fucking "You Got the Touch," and you're gonna fucking whatever. This is the level where Krang is normal sized for some reason.
Yeah, Super Krang is just average size.
He's just regular Krang today.
I don't know why. Yeah, why wouldn't you? You could have made a huge Krang that we just attacked its shin or something. That would have been just as fun as seeing it.
It would have been.
Yeah. So I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. If I'm going to believe that Ninja Turtles can go through time and whatever, I'm going to believe that Super Krang shrinks and grows at will.
And why would he make that conscious choice? I mean, like just instead of crushing them or shooting at them with laser eyes, I'm going to just like shoot like missiles out of his mouth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're fighting Super Krang and you talk through the battle in this one.
Do you? I don't really remember.
Yeah, or I think so.
The Turtles are pretty vocal in this game, so I believe that. Yeah, I don't remember what they say though. Probably like, what the fuck is this shit?
He does that jet kick thing for, he does the jet kick thing, and then,
You're not really remembering it too well. I don't really remember too well either.
I think he has rockets he fires, I think.
Yeah, he shoots some kind of rockets out of his mouth, and then other than that, I think he like kicks, and as you said, like he does kind of like a leaping kick, and he punches you. He like, a lot of the enemies in this game just straight up punch you.
Sure.
No real weapon combat in this game.
I think he tells you that you're going to pay. I think that's the banter he says.
I think he does. say something along those lines, yeah. Right. I don't know exactly what you're paying for. You're just trying to get your Statue of Liberty back, but, whatever.
Exactly. Why do they want the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, I was going to say, where do they even put it? After they fly off with it, what do they stick it somewhere? Do they have a big warehouse that can house the Statue of Liberty?
They're just being mean at this point.
Yeah, at this point, they're just being dicks.
It's like a public nuisance. They're not even like super villains. They're just like
just irritating. Yeah, and they're doing it so publicly too. I mean, like when you have the power in the cloud, the ability, whatever, to literally abscond with a national landmark the size of the Statue of Liberty. Like, do you really are you relying on like these 4 like vigilantes to help you? I mean, like, do you not bring in like the National Guard, like an anti-terrorist unit? I mean, like where's the rest of the city on this?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's bogus. I'm calling this. This is not right.
Now, because that's just, it's not like he hid the Statue of Liberty somewhere in time.
Unless he did. Maybe he did. I don't even know.
They said that. I don't know.
Well, at the end, we're skipping ahead a little bit, but at the end, you fight in front of like the head of the Statue of Liberty. So you're on some kind of tall platform where he stuck it, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. This plot has a lot of holes. Sure. I'm sad to say. Yeah.
Well, the next one is the Starbase, which is probably the one you thought it was.
It was.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, that one felt a lot like the last level or two of the original Ninja Turtle arcade game. It not only like aesthetically did it look the same, it had a lot of the the traps like laser beams and shit like that coming out at you.
It had yes, I think there were some missed opportunities. There was like the security robot things.
I was just going to mention those.
It's like they should have just been mousers because it would have.
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
And maybe they used mousers in the original game, and that's why they chose to use something different here. But in the future, there's no mousers. I guess we can all.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's probably better. Probably for the best. I don't know. I like the look of that final level, and it is, I guess, ultimately the last level of the game.
It's a pretty hard level, actually.
Oh, it's chaotic. I mean, just the whole game has been pretty good about just really surrounding you with enemies left and right. There's not a dull moment in this game. But the last level in particular, you're tons of traps, tons of enemies. You're really on your feet.
You see floor panels that just freeze you. Yep.
Yeah. Random little floor panels will light up with a blue beam, and if you get caught in it, you freeze, and your character says something like, "I'm too cool now," or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Some stupid pun. Yeah. I don't know. The music is very similar to the old Turtle game of that level, and again, the aesthetic I like, the colors and everything. I really like that level. That one and the pirate ship were probably my two favorite levels. So yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, not bad at all. And then you get to fight Krang again in a little UFO.
Yeah, he's just getting smaller and smaller. Now he's in like a little mobile UFO.
However, though, the little UFO, but he's bigger. If you actually want to compare the size of Krang.
Is he really? He's bigger in that?
Well, yeah, he's bigger than like the size of the compartment he would have fit in the smaller Super Krang body that is literally the size of the original Super Krang's eyeball. But, yeah.
So they can not only warp time, they can warp space and physics as well.
Yeah, there's no fucking...
They're out of control!
Craziness. It's just
craziness. It is craziness. I thought that was actually kind of a whack boss. I mean, again, not because it's Krang. I've got no problem with Krang. I just never liked him like everybody else did. I thought it was cool that he's in a UFO. I think he makes a funny face when you hit it and it wobbles back and forth. But really all he does is he just kind of floats around and just drops those little non-mouser things at you, and that's most what he does.
Tells you that you shellheads are dead, so.
Does he? I didn't catch that. Okay.
He likes to talk lots of shit, apparently.
Yeah, for being a bitch whose ass already got whipped twice, he's got a lot of venom to spew at these poor turtles. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that brings you to
stage.
What's that?
Well, did you have any trouble with the character?
Yeah, it was a tough boss fight, I thought.
See, I thought it was kind of like time consuming, but I didn't actually find it too difficult.
He shoots those bubbles out; they can trap you.
Oh, that's right. He does occasionally shoot those out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was okay, I guess.
Yeah, just do regular attacks and just I don't know.
Pretty straightforward.
Maybe it wasn't hard. Maybe it just took a while.
Yeah.
Then stage 9 wasn't really a stage.
No, it really wasn't. I thought it was going to be, but it was just a fight with Shredder on top of some kind of structure in front of the Statue of Liberty.
Well, apparently, since it's Turtles in Time, that Super Shredder's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm traveling to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and
he got a lightsaber.
Luke Skywalker's green lightsaber.
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Did Shredder get a lightsaber?
Well, I was gonna say, to be fair, it's just kind of like a neon green sword. But why does he have a neon green sword all of a sudden?
Well, he just used his shredded hands that he has. I mean,
it is kind of redundant, isn't it?
Oh man.
I got it. The animation, the sprite of Shredder is actually really cool. He's very tall, very svelte. He looks like a badass. Yeah, he's colored correctly to the cartoon. I'm sure there's some minor differences, but he's the Shredder we all know and love. He has a shirt on, thank God, unlike the turtle figure that it was modeled after the same cartoon. And his animation's really good. He has like a lot of like swings and lunges and shit, and he kicks and jumps around. He's actually like a really well-developed sprite. I thought he was really cool. He doesn't, I don't think, do a whole lot, especially in contrast to the first Turtle arcade game. In that game, he literally splits into like 10 different Shredders. The music is just jamming, and he's shooting like laser blasts, one-hit kill blasts that turn you into a little baby turtle that you're helpless. In this one, he just kind of fights you with a sword. It's he looked great, he moved great, but he didn't do a whole lot for a boss.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did you feel any differently?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I think the thing is getting there in the arcade, either dropping all the cash or just being talented enough to get there in very few quarters.
Sure.
Thank God it wasn't that hard. You'd have sat there for another fucking month trying to beat that fucking guy. And again, none of this game was super hard. It was just a lot of endurance, I guess.
It is. It's an endurance, as most arcade games are, at least back in those days.
Sure.
When you beat Shredder, I don't even remember the ending. Do they even show? They do, don't they? They show the Statue of Liberty being like put back, like just drop back on the podium, and then it's like, hey, thanks, game over.
Basically, yeah. Then all the turtles are in the turtle blimp.
In the turtle blimp, that's right.
One appearance ever in the cartoon.
If I recall correctly, Raphael was like on the side making a goofy face about to fall off the blimp or something for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Splinter's in the crowd, being very ninja-like and hiding in the shadows, like in full view of the public.
As a kid, did you play the Super Nintendo version of this game?
Very briefly, but my memory is that I rented it and sat down to play it, and I remember going through the first stage of this game on the Super Nintendo, or at least whatever reasonable Super Nintendo facsimile of the first stage the game had. But I don't remember anything beyond that. I don't remember ever having the Super Nintendo game and getting the pirate ship or any of that stuff.
Well, because there's a lot of differences between the
games.
Are
there?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, have you played them, or did you look it up? Because I'm not familiar with it at all.
I have played them, and I didn't play through it, but I've definitely looked up the comparisons because I remember there being some differences, and sure enough, I found a list of differences between the games.
Okay, well, anything substantial?
One is many of the bosses are either completely different or not, not in the version, not in the game at all. So, in the arcade, there's no slash, which there is, I guess, in the Super Nintendo. There's no.
Oh, nice.
There's no Super Shredder like there is in the Super Nintendo. There's no Shredder in the machine. There's no Rat King or no Bebop and Rocksteady. So. And
all those characters are on the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
Wow, I would have rather played that.
In Stage 3, there isn't a bonus stage at all in the arcade version, but you don't really fight a boss there. In the NES version, there is a bonus stage, and you do fight a boss.
Does it say what the boss is?
No.
Okay.
Stage 7 is a bonus stage in the Super NES version with less enemies. You fight Super Krang in both games. In the Super NES version, there's no Cement Man. No loss there. Oh, Slash is much cooler. So maybe.
Oh, Slash is in place of the cement creature or whatever? Okay.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Yeah. So maybe that's what they were thinking. Let me see. Yeah, some bosses are much harder on the arcade version and vice versa. Some include Metalhead on the Super NES is much easier than the arcade. There's no pattern except to punch you every 2 seconds. Leatherhead on level 6 is almost impossible to beat without two people.
This is on the Super Nintendo or the arcade?
Let me see. He not only hits you about every solid hit until you get him, he also likes to throw his knives consistently, not dashing. Yeah.
Then that'd be the Super Nintendo version.
He didn't really say. And Krang has different attacks on the two games, but he's about the same difficulty in both games.
Okay.
A few stage changes. Level 7 is a slide scrolling in the arcade version. The Super NES, it's a 3D style level.
I don't know what oh god, that'd be like an old Contra level then or something.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible. Yeah.
And it kind of makes me want to go play it and just see.
Yeah, I'm curious.
In the arcade version, there's no Technodrome level at all. In the Technodrome, you fight Toka and Razor mid-level, and then you end the fight with Shredder.
That sounds neat.
Yeah, in Machine, you have to throw a foot soldier at the hurt.
Oh, I remember seeing pictures of that. Until you mentioned that, I'd forgotten about that. I remember in Nintendo Power, they showed that's how you beat Shredder. He's you're looking from behind his head, like Little Mac in Punch-Out, and you have to throw the enemies towards the screen with your turtle to damage the thing that he's, riding around in.
Weird.
That's right. I kept on waiting for that to show up in the arcade version, and then I forgot about it, because I didn't, because it's not there.
Yeah. And then I guess you fight, on the Skull and Crossbones, you fight Bebop and Rocksteady in pirate outfits instead of Toka.
That's rad.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, man, whatever, the Gamerator 64,000 picks whatever it picks, but I kind of wish we would have played the Super Nintendo version, to be honest.
And the bosses on the Super Nintendo version flash when they're getting weak, and they also have life bars.
There you go.
There go my life bars. The arcade version gives you no identification of how weak the enemy is. The boss The boss song is a little different. I think it sounds much cooler in the arcade version, says the guy who wrote this list. And even though you can throw a foot soldiers at the screen, there's really no use for it in the arcade version.
It looks cool. That's something I should have touched on. That was a neat effect.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that was in the original game. I don't think it was.
It comes popping at you. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you control that? I couldn't.
No, it just seemed like it happened every now and then. You could throw.
Okay.
I like when you like slammed them back and forth.
Yeah, that happened a couple times.
Yeah. So. I don't know.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Like, what do you think of like for example, like the graphics, the music, stuff like that? What do you think of the various areas of the game?
I dug the whole thing. I would have dug the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme song because you should always just have started.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. It wasn't the turtle song. It was something like pizza. Pizza is life. Yeah. Pizza makes me want to rock.
Some stupid.
It was like pizza power, right? Yeah, some bullshit.
It was stupid. But again, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like a bad video game song.
It was.
In comparison to other video game songs, I don't know. It wasn't
a typical arcade cheese. Nothing, whatever.
It wasn't epic. It wasn't like Final Fantasy XI's fucking groundbreaking orchestra fucking. It was a Ninja Turtle game, and it had fun, poppy, dancey, Ninja Turtle-y music, and
it did.
It was fine for what it was. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was bad. It set the mood for the game, so.
It was just so left field, though.
There's no reason to never, at that era, to never have started out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right. Which, again, the original arcade game did do.
Yeah. It's fucking...
Heroes in a Half Shell, that's right.
So they definitely should have used that song, but...
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't secure the rights.
Might not have been able to, I don't know. Or maybe like Rick Derringer or whoever they got to do Pizza Power or whatever the fuck. They had some kind of agreement with him, I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. I don't remember any of the music in the game, really, except for the space level or whatever, because it was kind of like the music at the end of the game in the first Turtle Arcade game. Other than that, I don't remember the music.
Was there any particular type of foot soldier you found particularly irritating or hard, or...
No, you see, that's the thing again, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but in the original Turtle Arcade game, I remember like off the top of my head, I don't remember which ones, but I remember there were kind of like troublesome ones, like, here comes, like, whatever, the blue one, I know that I'm in for it now, I have to move. In this game, it's cool to me that they all do have like different, color-coded attacks and everything, and they there's a variety of the enemies. But again, like at the end of the day, the whole goal of the game is just to attack them and kill them quickly en masse before they can attack you. So it kind of blends together. You don't really like no one enemy stands out to me really because of that. Yeah. I like their colors though. I mean, I like there's like a teal foot soldier. There's like a white foot soldier. I think it's cool to look at.
Yeah, it cheapens it and makes it feel generic to me. I feel like it should have just been purple because that's how they looked in the cartoon.
See, to me that would have been understandable, but to me that would have been cheap and generic. It would have just been the same one enemy sprite just over and over and over.
Yeah, well, I don't think they use it as for those. I mean, who knows? I guess I can't suppose to delve into the psyche of the man who created the game. But I think they basically used it so you could identify their action rather than.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
Yeah. So.
To me, that was just a pleasant after effect. I don't know. Just the game had a really nice, vibrant, colorful color palette, and I like that. Just a lot of color everywhere.
Yeah, it'd have been fun. They should have had a level where you could have been Usagi Yojimbo for that level. Maybe they should have had him be like the guy on like the sewer levels just to change shit up.
Just to randomly have a samurai rabbit in the sewer.
Sure.
Makes as much sense as a yellow xenomorph.
Exactly. And then try to pass it off as some sort of pizza creature.
An anchovy monster, yeah.
Oh, man.
Was Usagi... Oh, that's right, I forgot. He wasn't just with Gru, he was also with Turtles. That's right. I forgot about that. They had a Usagi Yojimbo figure at one point, didn't they?
Awesome.
He was.
Speaking of figures, did you see that figure? I sent you an email of like the dumbest turtle figure I can actually think of ever.
Oh, yeah, the other day. Oh, God, what was it? It was like Michelangelo or Raphael, and it was something stupid, but I can't remember what it was. It wasn't?
It was like a fucking...
Something in a cow costume or something, wasn't it?
No, it was a Dalmatian. It was like...
Oh, that's what it was.
Fucking...
It was something spotted.
It was a firefighter Dalmatian. because
Ninja
kids
Turtle.
want to play with that. Yeah, his name was Hotspot, and he's got like a fucking. He's like a firefighter. He comes with a fire axe and a fire hydrant and a fire hose. That's his weapons he comes with. He has a fire hat, and then he has like a yellow like wrestling singlet on for some reason.
I didn't notice that. I couldn't tell that.
Boots, and it's who the fuck wants to play with that?
The same person who's playing with like space, like fucking like space Slimin' Raphael and fucking pizza cook Donatello. Oh God, what year did that line jump the shark? I'd say like 93. That's when they started getting really ridiculous.
Yeah, they just started making whatever. They let
fucking Ace Duck, Mondo Gecko. Who was Mondo, to be fair?
It in at that point.
By the time they got to the point to where they were just making just vocation Ninja Turtles, like you said, oh, this one's whatever, this one's a firefighter, this one over here, he's a fucking ninja cop, I don't know.
Behind action figure development were just like on fucking all night, like absinthe and heroin. They were just like fucking, and they just fucking roll out of bed and just come to a fucking, just do a Dalmatian firefighter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Johnson, what do you got? Firefighting Dalmatian. Fucking genius!
Take note, kids. Take note. That's how you develop a toy.
Yeah, just on heroin and fucking absinthe or whatever the fuck you said. Oh God. Yeah, the Ninja Turtle. What? Can you remember? I'm sure there's no way to remember the last actual Ninja Turtle toy you bought, but do you remember about like the last couple, like when you started kind of like saying, I'm not really. Go ahead.
The last one I got that I was like, probably Leatherhead actually.
Oh, that was actually pretty early, I think.
Yeah.
That was like within the first like couple of years.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't buy a whole lot of the bad ones. I really didn't. I just didn't care. I wasn't one of those kids
Sure.
that's like, I gotta have them all because they're Ninja Turtles. Like, when they were dumb, I didn't get them. I didn't get Mondo Gecko. I didn't get
I
didn't get Rasputin the Frog.
I did because I love frogs, to be fair.
Sure.
I dug that character because he was a fucking frog. That was cool to me.
Yeah, so, you know,
I forgot about him.
I didn't care about any of that. There was the fucking duck. There was like a duck.
Ace Duck. Why is there Ace Duck?
I didn't bother with any of that.
Do you remember your favorite? Oh, go ahead.
My favorites were the actual turtles themselves.
Beyond them, though, there had to have been one like
Jimbo was my favorite because of his pose, and he was.
Did you own him? You actually owned him?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow!
I might still have him. I know his ears broke off, but I might still have him somewhere. I doubt it, though. I might have gotten rid of him. I got rid of most of my toys from that era, which I really regret. But
yeah, all mine burned in a fire, so I feel you. I know what you mean.
I still have my 4 original turtles. I have them on display in my son's room, actually. So those are pretty sweet.
It's good that you had the foresight to hang on to those.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, that's just it. I was cleaning up the garage at our last apartment, and I was throwing a bunch of shit away, and that's when I threw my box of, like, turtle stuff away. Because it was odds and ends and bits and pieces. I didn't have, like, complete, anything left. But I chucked that box, but I did pull the 4 turtles out. I should have held on to Casey Jones, too.
I'm shocked you didn't.
Casey Jones probably is another one that was fucking awesome. He was one of my favorite turtle figures.
That's exactly why I'm shocked that you didn't hang on to him. I always thought he was like your number, as he probably is mine, like the best non-turtle character. Yeah,
for sure.
Wow. Yeah. For me, it would have been probably Casey Jones and Slash. I love Slash.
The Foot Soldier characters were neat too.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
Yeah. Those are cool.
They rode around in a fucking like a =57 Chevy, like that purple like foot cruiser or whatever. That was rad.
Wasn't that like the Neutrinos car?
No, God, no. Unless it was marketed that. It's funny that everyone kind of remembers that about me. I must have made a really big deal out of how much I disliked those characters back in the day. They were in like literally like the 3rd official episode, and I thought they were the most ridiculous. They were like they were just like obnoxious little bastards that ran around just like saying obnoxious bastard things, and they were like, oh, cool, the Neutrinos are awesome. No, they're not. No, they fucking blow.
The Rat King was pretty sweet.
The Rat King's rad. Looking back, especially as a fan of rats now as I am, I wish I still had my Rat King figure. Aren't you the one who showed me the new Rat King? He's in like a fucking like a trench coat and shit.
Rat King's fantastic.
Yeah. His figure was pretty awesome. I saw that.
Does he look cool? He's super cool. Like he's got like better powers. Like he can basically control rats.
That's fantastic. I need that figure.
And he could fucking in the cartoon he like uses it to control Splinter.
I never would have thought of that. Yeah,
You
yeah.
can, like, delve right into Splinter's brain. And, like, it's menacing. He's a menacing character. He's awesome.
Instead of just like some random guy in bandages who just hangs out in the sewer for no
it's
reason.
like crazy, weird hobo mummy guy.
Yeah.
He's not even like a super villain. He's just homeless.
Which could have been like some kind of like profound commentary. It takes place in New York.
Sure, yeah.
No, he's just like some jerk. He's just some homeless bastard.
He's not even like a threat. He's just like homeless and eccentric and like just bounce off crazy things. And the turtles took him seriously. Everybody else just walks by him.
Now, when you say the turtles took him seriously, you mean as a...
The turtles are just so used to like supervillains that they like took him seriously as a supervillain.
As a threat. Okay, that's where I was going. Okay, yeah. This guy's got to be stopped.
It's got him some help and
like walked him to the rehab clinic and shit. Here, man, come on. You'll be righteous, dude.
He wasn't so kooky.
Asking for change and shit. Oh, that's terrible. That's so sad. All right, so about Leatherhead was about when you tapped out. That's interesting.
I think that he was probably like the lamest character I actually bought, I guess.
Somehow he really was kind of lame. I mean, like, I say somehow as if it's not obvious. I'm sure to a lot of people it is. Like to me, it's like he's not the worst, but like when I really stop and think about it, it is like, wow, what a dumb character. A Cajun alligator.
I never really got like Christmas is like the day that like your silly aunt gets you like Michelangelo in outer space. Or,
yes.
Like, I never obtained any of those that way. So thank you, family, friends, and loved ones who, showered me with gifts as a kid. Nobody got me the dumbest turtle figures ever. So I appreciate that.
That actually surprises me only because one would think that whether by talking to your mom directly or just, making the assumption on their own, I would think that they would have figured, he's got all the major main characters. Let's get like this weird, obscure fucking, as you said, Michelangelo in space. Surely he doesn't have that one.
Actually, oddly enough, it was my bass player, my band's little boy's birthday, and we got him a couple Ninja Turtle figures with him up, and one of them was a like Viking Raphael, and I was like,
you were in Minnesota.
I was like, well, I'm going to return this and get him something not so lame. And
I thought you would have wanted that because you were a Viking fan.
No, because I hate the whole let's make it a Viking because we're out of ideas type.
Sure,
thing,
sure.
You know what I mean? But it turns out, and I couldn't find anything to exchange. I couldn't find a better figure. I went to a few places. We were out of time, and I was like, fucking, I guess we'll just give him the stupid Viking one. And but I guess after watching some of the shows with my boy, he actually wears that Viking costume in one of the cartoons, so it actually is relevant to the cartoon. So it made me go, well, at least it's not just like some made up for the sake of like making it up. It actually does coincide with the cartoon, so I felt better about it after that. So
yeah, it wasn't like postal office Donatello.
I know, right? Part-time job done.
Yeah, that's literally pretty much what they were. They just substitute the words part-time with just like whatever job you can think of. They made a figure out of it.
Sure.
Oh man.
But it would be like the name of that job and then like slamming. It'd be like
yes. You're right. Fucking tubular teacher Michelangelo.
Exactly.
Fucking leaping, I don't know, librarian Leonardo. It was bad. I mean, they really did. It was there were chefs, there were astronauts. I think one of them was a fucking farmer. I'm not even kidding. I think one of them was a farmer Ninja Turtle.
I know why, because they wanted kids to just keep buying them and they were out of ideas.
But at one point, do they not ask themselves that question? Why? Why are we doing this? Why do we hate?
Exactly.
Oh man. So Turtles in Time as an experience.
Yeah, I liked it. All right. Well, that's enough. You gotta. I judge it differently, kind of, because it's an arcade game. If it was a console game, I don't know.
You have to apply different standards to it. It's not built to be the same type of game that we've been reviewing so far.
Right. So where does this land for you? What kind of rating does this get?
Well, again, I know I've never played the arcade version, and even when I played the Super Nintendo version, I think I only played like the first stage and then got sick, fell asleep, had to return the rental. I don't know. So this is essentially the first time I ever played it. I do think I probably like the original arcade game a little bit better. Maybe it's nostalgia. In fact, I'm sure a lot of it is, but just a little bit of the aesthetic I like better. In this game, it was animated well. The colors were gorgeous. I thought it was very nice looking. Good animation. I didn't like the music. I didn't really care for the sound effects. Like the sound effects all seemed like they were like bubbles and shit. Like it sounded kind of light. There wasn't a lot of like crunchy combat noise, so that wasn't great. It was a short game. It was only like how long did it take you to beat? Like 35, 40 minutes?
Hour,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's a quick game, which again, it's an arcade game, so of course it's going to be when you're just pumping in infinite quarters. It is going to go fast. So, I mean, just weighing all these things together, for what it is, for what it intends to be, which is just a straight up just Ninja Turtle empowerment, side-scrolling brawler, it's good. I would say that for what it is, I'd give it an 8.
Wow, okay. I had to say I agree with pretty much most of what you just had to say. The colors, it looks nice. I didn't mind the sound effects so much. I thought they were fitting. I didn't mind the music, I guess, as bad as you did. The game control was fine. It worked. It was a good, fun smash and beat 'em up. There's a lot of games just like it. Say if Turtles ain't your thing, there's an Avengers game. You might as well just go play the Avengers game. It's the same game. It's just different. You can be an Avenger and fight different bosses, basically.
That's true.
And, there's several games just like it. So there's one of these games for everybody. I prefer the Turtles because I'm partial to the Turtles, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. However, I don't know that I give it an 8. I probably give it closer to a 6.5 maybe.
Wow. Yeah. I'm shocked. That's about what you gave Mega Man, and you weren't really a big fan of that, nor was I.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess
I thought you were digging it like I was. Wow.
I was.
Wow.
I had a good time, man. I had a good time. I was excited to play. I had a fantastic time playing this game. I've got to get, I have to give it what it is, I guess. That's
only 2 points above Monkey Island.
Yeah, well, 2 big points.
2 very important points.
2 very big points.
Your score is your score, and it has to be relative to what you want it to be, so fair enough. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, 6.5, I guess. I don't know. It's not.
Yeah,
I have to compare it to other arcade games, I guess, that I enjoy. It's no fucking Tekken. It's no
Mortal Kombat 2.
It's no Pac-Man, honestly. It's no Donkey Kong. It's I don't know. It's a 6.5 for me.
But now, how would you, instead of comparing it to Mortal Kombat and Pac-Man, how would you compare it to Simpsons or X-Men, for example?
It's the same game.
Would those also get 6s and 6.5?
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I would have to play it and see. Maybe there's something so unbelievably charming about the Simpsons game that I forget that I would just have to give it a better rating, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some things they could have tightened up with this game that would have garnered a higher score. I'm not.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing your score. I'm making you. I don't want you to feel like you have to rethink it. I guess I'm just wondering what would have made it, as you said, like what would have made it better. Like, are there any elements that you think it could have improved upon that would have made your score higher?
Maybe some better storytelling. Maybe some.
That's for sure.
Maybe some. I don't know. Maybe some things like that, like the little robots on the ground being mousers. Maybe an appearance by Casey Jones. Maybe some better voice acting. Some of that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't dislike it by any means. I guess it's just maybe if it was more challenging. My problem with a lot of brawlers is I really just kind of move my joystick around and slap down on the controls.
This game doesn't have a lot of technique, yeah.
I mean, I've always wondered why they didn't make a good brawling game or a good walk-through, beat 'em up. Why isn't there, Mortal Kombat moves? Why did they stop there?
Then you have more... go ahead.
Why can't I go through a game and fuck people up with a freeze ray and go up and then 5-hit combo them down and then fight to the next guy?
I can't help laughing because anyone who's listening to this, they're going to be thinking the same thing I am. Mortal Kombat Mythologies, which I thought was okay, people hated, and it's exactly what you describe. It's literally a side-scrolling brawler with legit straight up Mortal Kombat moves.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people might have hated hated it so bad because it was attached to the Mortal Kombat name.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't speak for whether they were right or not. I mean,
standalone game, and you could fucking go apeshit with cool moves, and it was a beat 'em up. I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say. I mean, again, I thought it was a fair enough game. I didn't love it, didn't hate it, but yeah, it's notorious for being like one of the black sheeps of the Mortal Kombat franchise, which I only bring up because, again, it's interesting because it's exactly what you just described. Huh. So I don't know if you ever played that. If you did, you never talked to me about it back in the day, so maybe you might want to check that one out.
Wasn't there levels like that on Armageddon?
Yeah, I think so. Armageddon had like the whole big long quest. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it had a quest mode, so I'm sure it probably unfolded similarly.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
I remember it being okay.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, the beat-em-up games are only so fun. They're fun with friends, they're fun arcade games, and that's what it is. It's a fun arcade game. I have a few quarters, and if I'm not going to stand there and beat the whole game, I enjoyed being a Ninja Turtle for a few minutes for a while I either waited for my mom to pick me up after the movie, or I waited at the roller rink between songs that I didn't like, and I wanted to break from skating, that kind of thing. That's what these games are good for. I couldn't see myself, I have to factor in the playability. Would I play this game over and over and over again like I would a lot of other games? Nah, probably not.
I mean, again, everything you're saying I agree with. I mean, I can pretty much feel the same way that you do. I guess for me, what I was thinking more was I'm relating it to when I give it an 8, like that's not an 8 against, for example, King's Bounty or like one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. Like against those, this game would be like a 4 or a 5. It's just it's not anywhere near the same level of satisfaction, depth, sure. Et.cetera. But for what it is, for what I expect of it, it's like the Jurassic World situation. It's like I liked it because it delivered what I expected it to deliver, and it did it, I think, in a very good way. Not perfect, but
well, that's just it. If I had to give Jurassic World a star rating out of 5 stars, it'd probably get 2.5 stars out of me. I mean,
right down the middle. Wow, yeah, again, that actually surprises me too.
I really enjoyed the movie, but it's not it's not a great movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Joe Dirt, but it's a bad movie. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Believe me, I know we've had the Joe Dirt discussion.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't have to be I don't need everything to be a perfect masterpiece to have had a good time with it. And this is not a masterpiece, and I still had a good time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, everything you're saying makes sense. Just the 6 sounds indicative of less of a good time as I was expecting you to have had.
I had just a fine enough time for it. Yeah,
well, fair enough.
6.5. Don't forget.
Oh, well, okay.
Point. Don't forget another half
true.
a point, and we're at a 7, which is
I think a 7 is a little bit more what I expected you to get. And again, it's your score. You should, score how you wish. I guess the border between Turtles in Time and Mega Man, I'm surprised that it's that close.
Yeah.
Because Mega Man, you flat out didn't really like, and I don't blame you.
No, but Mega Man, I would argue, I felt really accomplished beating Mega Man.
For damn sure, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I just felt like...
That's a good point.
I just felt like, I finally finished Turtles very quickly with minimal effort, It's just... Yeah.
That is a good point. All good things to consider. I think that's why I remember, and I know your stance on critics, obviously, but Roger Ebert said something that I've always thought was a very good, smart thing to say. Somebody called him out on a review. I can't remember which movie, but they said, you sat here talking about how much you liked this movie, and yet you gave it 2 stars out of 4. Reconcile that. And he actually did. Roger Ebert was a very intelligent man, critic or otherwise. He was very thoughtful, very introspective, very well spoken. Roger Ebert was awesome. Yeah, he was a good guy. And he replied to this person very thoughtfully. He said, you have to understand something. He said scores are arbitrary. He says, how can I compare the score for this movie against the score for this movie in an entirely different genre? How can I say that this movie that's really great for special effects is equal to this movie that's great for drama and character and writing? You can't. He says, you don't just look at my score. That's just an arbitrary number. That's why I do the thumbs up, thumbs down. Do I like it? Do I recommend it? Do I not? Look at what I say. Read the review. Read why I feel the way I do. Read what it is about the movie that I like or don't like. Don't just say 2 stars means bad. Look at what I said. Did I sound like I enjoyed the movie? Yeah, sure I did, but it's not a 4-star movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. The scores are there to kind of indicate, a shortened version of what we actually feel. So I mean, if it's a 6.5, it's a 6.5, and it makes sense.
All right. Well, it's about that time where we dust off the old game selector 526,000 and see what next week's game's going to be.
Why don't you give that thing a big meaty yank?
I will. All
right.
Hold on. Crack my knuckles here. There we go.
You make it a big one. Make it count.
All right.
Make this bitch work for us.
There we go. And...
Okay. All right.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
You on board for this one?
I don't know. We'll see.
Gotta do some thinking, huh?
We'll see.
God, the more I hear you express your lack of enthusiasm, the more I wonder if I even want to play this.
We'll see.
Let's keep him in suspense for a while.
We're not even going to tell them.
Of course, when they go to download these episodes, they won't see them on an iTunes list anyway. They won't look ahead and spoil the surprise.
Exactly.
Fuck, what are they talking about? I'm just going to look at the screen. Oh, right there, episode 9, you dumbasses. I can look right now. It's, well... You know what it is? It's one of the best games ever made. It's an all-time classic, and we'll be revisiting it for the first time, perhaps together. I think we'll actually be doing this one together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Toe Jam and Earl for the Sega Genesis. It's a fucking great game.
It is a great game.
Such a fun, innovative game, and I'm looking forward to playing it. And,
very much so. Very much so.
Go and find all them spaceship pieces and get back to my planet. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, we're going to be funky while we do it, too.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck. So there we have it, folks.
It's going to be a good time.
Ninja Turtles in Time. Looking forward to playing some Toe Jam and Earl for the Sega Genesis. If you like what you heard tonight, you can participate in several ways. Further, you can join our very active Facebook page. Just go on Facebook.com, find the Contra code, hit that there like button, and keep up with some fun video game conversation, chats, information, all kinds of stuff heading at you. We also have a increasingly active message boards, where if you go to www.thecontracode.proboards.com and sign on up there, you can join our little interactive community where you can play along with the game, talk about modern games, retro games, modern toys, retro toys, all kinds of stuff, movies, TV shows, pretty much anything that goes on, music. The music thread's been pretty hot lately.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you've been pitching in with that. And we have our first as far as I know, our first international overseas visitor. We have a fellow from England on the forum right now. So, yeah.
Yeah. We've got all kinds of people having on. Give a shout out to WSS. The whole night we've been playing this. I'm friends with him on Steam. He's been playing Oblivion, so I hope you're enjoying yourself playing some Elder Scrolls there.
Nice.
WSS. Why so serious? And, so, you can also send us a nasty hate-gram or send us some pictures of your tits to...
yes, dudes, do this for us.
The Contra Code. The Contra Code podcast at gmail.com.
We have no female listeners.
Well, you know.
If we do, please, change the flow of the photos we have been getting.
Maybe you're a chubby guy with nice tits, whatever. You can, and then you could, is that all of our, no, you can download our podcast at iTunes, also at Podomatic. You can subscribe, and once in a while, Mike will get around to putting the rest of our podcasts up on YouTube,
yeah. Every now and then I care, yeah.
The Contra Code podcast channel on YouTube. So, there you have it, folks. It's getting to the wee hours of the night. We're getting a little loopy here. And there you have it, guys. Until next time, I bid you a fond farewell.